A night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen dinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine, I'll feel safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but for me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
Oh, hi there, everybody. Fancy meeting you here at the bar.
Whoa.
Who would have thought it? MauLer, are you happy to be here again? Are you ready?
Yeah, I've noticed it. I've just been streaming all week nonstop in so many different ways. Video games, news, movie reviews, and TV review. I go do the boys on Saturday.
You're just all over the place, aren't you? No idea what's going on now.
Nothing but good stuff, especially with the recent mixtape. I heard you really had fun with that.
I had a blast, man. That was 2 hours and 36 minutes that I'll never get back. But hey, you know, it was worth it for the lols, I guess. You know, at least it was over quickly. I'll be putting out my review of that tomorrow, so look forward to that. Because yeah, you probably noticed this yourself. When you've streamed it, you get immediately copyright struck for all the licensed songs that are in it. So they planned ahead with that one. Nice.
I heard Platoon muted it and played piano when those sections happened. So he found his way around it, you know?
See, some games will give you a streamer's version of it. I remember The Quarry did that, where it's like, are you going to be streaming this? Yes. Yeah. Okay, we'll just use like generic music instead. And it's like, perfect. That's very kind of you. Mixtape's like, no, fuck you. You're gonna get copyright struck for this one. Like, fine.
I remember someone saying like mixtape had not accounted for streamers or whatever. I was like, dude, it hasn't accounted for gaming. It hasn't accounted for anything. Why are we pretending?
It's fine. I will be like, there will be no audio from the game in my review. So then we'll see who comes out on top. Mixtape. Anyway, well, it's good to have everyone here. We've got our bar ready to come in, but before we do, should we hit you with some pointless facts?
Do it.
Pointless facts of the week. And in this case, it's 1986. This being open bar 186. What stuff happened this year? Not good, actually. The Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart just 73 seconds after liftoff, killing all astronauts on board, including a schoolteacher who was flying into space for the first time, which remains one of the biggest disasters in American space history. So not a good time. They weren't having a great time in the Soviet Union either. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant melted down, resulting in the deaths of, well, directly, it varies a little bit. The direct number of deaths are believed to count at 12 from radiation exposure and the blast itself. But like the actual number is believed to be more like in the hundreds from, you know, cancers and so on. Widely believed to be one of the precipitating events that brought about the end of the Soviet Union and the collapse of it. The enormous financial cost of the cleanup operation pretty much broke them, coupled with the defeat in Afghanistan. So not good times there, I guess.
Yes.
Things were doing better in America, though, because they did Hands Across America, where everyone held hands, I guess, in order to raise money for charity, and it was meant to stretch from coast to coast. I mean, did they work? I'm gonna put this to chat. Actually, you're Americans here, or at least some of you are. When they did Hands Across America, did it actually like stretch across the whole of America?
I'd have to imagine it didn't.
Someone's just said nope, failed. Someone else just said gay.
Yeah, didn't that get referenced in Us, the movie, the Hands Across America thing? Remember that?
Oh,
it was like the end of the film, I think. Yeah,
I believe so. No, it did not. Someone else said I was unborn at this point. Well, that's fair play.
You fool.
The real reality here. Rocky IV was the catalyst for the USSR collapsing. I don't know if he collapsed the Soviet Union, but he did end the Cold War because he told us that everyone could change. And you know what? He was right. Although, in the world of movie making, let me give you some stuff here. Actually, in 1986, Pixar Animation Studios was founded, which I didn't think it was that old, but it is. Quite impressive, that, actually. Also,
look at them
Disney,
now.
Yeah, look at them go. The Great Mouse Detective was released, got good positive reviews, and it was a financial success, which actually saved Disney Studios from bankruptcy after the failure of The Black Cauldron. They were in dire straits back then, and that one pretty much saved their bacon. Also, Timothy Dalton was officially announced as the 4th actor to play James Bond. Now,
how relevant.
You've got a bit of a liking for Dalton, haven't you, as Bond?
Oh, I love him as an actor. Him as Bond, yeah, I like him as Bond, but it's Brosnan and Connery are the goats as far as I'm concerned.
I think that's fair. I think he was like an early prototype of Craig's Bond, much more serious,
kind of,
Didn't quite. The time wasn't right for it, and he was up for doing more actually, but they suffered. They got embroiled in all kinds of licensing disagreements at the time, and it wasn't until like 1993, I think, that they were cleared up. And by that point, he'd lost interest and moved on, and that's when they started searching for a new actor, and that's when they got Pierce Brosnan. So kind of interesting. Like in an alternate reality, he would have probably done 3 or 4 Bonds at least, I would imagine, but it wasn't to be. The big winners of the year in terms of box office revenue. Top Gun was the biggie with 180 million domestically anyway. Crocodile Dundee, weird, that came in pretty close behind actually, 174 million domestic. So that movie was a major success.
Well.
Platoon came in with 137. Yeah. I prefer that over Apocalypse Now, I'll be totally honest. I would much rather watch that. Karate Kid Part 2, weirdly, brought in 115 million, which is, pretty impressive because it's not a great movie. But
is that because of the subject matter or because you think it's the better film out of those two, by the way?
Which one, sorry?
Like, because you said Apocalypse Now and Platoon. Is it because Apocalypse Now is rough, like in terms of like the events, but Platoon's not exactly a happy movie either.
No, exactly. I think just in terms of like, if you want to make the definitive Vietnam movie, it would probably be Platoon for me rather than Apocalypse Now. I think it's a more interesting film. I think the characters are better. Apocalypse Now has got individual moments of sheer brilliance, but it's also a really meandering kind of movie, which I guess was part of the intent behind it when it's like the journey upriver into the heart of darkness and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I'd much rather rewatch Platoon than Apocalypse Now.
Fair enough.
That's just me. The Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, came in at 5th, which
I remember.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
Aliens also came out this year. It was number 7 with 86 million domestic, which obviously is not huge, but man, look at the cultural footprint it made.
Well, it's good for its budget too. And then, I'd say you and I like that movie. It's okay.
I would say we've got an okay relationship with it.
Yeah, that's all right.
And Ferris Bueller's Day Off came in at number 10.
Classic.
Which, I mean, look at that lineup of movies, man. Like, we're just Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, Platoon, Star Trek 4, Aliens, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's like this crazy, like, wild ride of different genres, different styles. Many of which,
selection.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's like some of the greats of 1980s cinema that we still quote today. Just, it's nice to take this little journey through older movies and see what was trending back in the day. Also, just in case you were wondering, people born in this year: Robert Pattinson, Megan Fox, Kit Harington, Lindsay Lohan, the Olsen twins, and Shia LaBeouf, all born in 1986. There you go. I'll leave it up to you who's aged better than the others. But yeah. Anyway, how about we assemble our bar?
I think we should do just that.
I think we should. All right, let's bring them in. Welcome everyone to the bar. Disparu, Fringy, and Reaper. It's good to have you boys back. How you doing?
Hello. It is going to be interesting in the future if anyone does a thing like you've just done for this year. Like, what were the movies that came out? Mandalorian and Grogu? It's not going to hit the same.
Don't worry, Disparu, that's not going to be in the top 10 of box office for this year.
Supergirl,
Yeah. I suppose on that subject, actually, we should talk a little bit about Mandalorian and Grogu because it's not doing too well at the box office, funnily enough. It's currently sitting at 167 million worldwide. I I believe they downgraded the estimates for the opening weekend, or they downgraded its box office tally, which was already below Solo: A Star Wars Story, which was considered a flop.
And that was 10 years ago, nearly. Bear that in mind. So when you adjust for inflation.
Yes, and as Fringy was good enough to share with me, it was actually just beaten on last night by Obsession, a low-budget horror movie done with less than $1 million, and it's currently beating a Star Wars movie at the box office.
Ouch.
I fucking love it. I love the timeline we're in.
But I mean, it's not even surprising. Like, everybody's, I was about to say everybody's had their conversations about this film, and that's kind of the end of it. But not many people have had conversations about the movie because a lot of people haven't watched it. But I mean, why would anybody who has watched this movie go, man, you should pay money to go see this movie in a cinema? That's something you should do, let alone whether you want to watch it on streaming.
Absolutely. I mean, I certainly didn't, but it's just... As MauLer said, like, there was almost nothing to discuss about the film itself. The only interesting conversation to be had was going to be the box office performance, and now we're beginning to see it. And this weekend, man, is going to be tough for it. It's going to be a brutal drop-off, I think, because nobody is talking about it. There's no word of mouth. It is dead in the water, I think.
And new movies are coming out. There's new stuff coming out, like Backrooms is coming out. And it looks like it's projected to have a $60 million opening domestic, not including international. It's like, yeah. And then the week after that, there's that Master of the Universe movie, which is probably going to fail as well, but that's still, another movie that's taken up screens. And then at that point, you're well into the summer movies. So, if it was going to make money, this was the time to do it. And I mean, why would it have? And why would it have done that? Why would it have been successful? I can't believe they thought that it was a good idea. It's kind of crazy.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, other movies are coming out, but I don't think they will be taking any business from this. So this is going to be very front-loaded. Anyone that was even slightly interested will have already seen it. I don't think anyone is really comparing it between any other movie. Just like, I really want to see these two movies, but I just can't decide. It's not that kind of territory. Even The Hollywood Reporter came out with the title that said, opens to a series low of 98 million in North America. Does it even matter? So even the corporate media says no one cares about Star Wars anymore. It's not going to change anything. And their only cope was any other title opening to that would be celebrated. And it's like, yeah, but not all things are equal. And they seem to forget a lot about budgets. For instance, this movie could have been a huge success if they just really lowered the budget down, realized, okay, Solo did this is going to do something similar. We're going to cut everything down to basics. But they don't seem to be able to. They're still riding on the highs of what they used to and trying to live off that level.
I think they would tell you that they did because the budget is 165 million, which by their standard, they're like, that's low. Yeah, that's kind of low.
By their standards, it is. And the thing is, it looks worse than the TV show. Like, I don't know if you guys picked up on this.
Season 1 of the TV show. Season 3, it looks better than, I'd say.
Because you get those... you get those kind of like compilations of like some of the best shots and stuff of like season 1, 2, 3, whatever. I was looking at them and I was like, God, there's some really nice shots from season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. Like, really beautiful landscapes, great composition and stuff. The VFX look good. And then I look at this movie and I'm like, no, it's kind of janky. And there's times when it looks really, really rough, like from a VFX point of view. And I just thought, man, how can it be several years down the line and way more money invested in it, and it somehow doesn't look as good? I don't know if it's just bloat or what, but man,
I don't know. 2019 is like the dividing line that you can often draw between sort of the era before that and the era after, because like all of the Star Wars sequel movies, even The Rise of Skywalker, which went through extensive reshoots, like broadly, it looks good from a, fidelity standpoint. Meanwhile, you look at like a lot of the stuff that comes out afterward, and the same goes for Marvel movies, for a lot of stuff, really. It's the post-COVID era has just sort of stayed at this same level of pretty horrendous quality on that front, for whatever reason that is.
That is also the excuse that Hollywood Reporter used for the box office, the pandemic. It's still being dragged out 6 years later as the reason why no one will go to the cinemas. And at no point do they even try and analyze what changed. Like, what is it that we can do to get these people back? It's not even a question. They're just like, well, I guess we just have to put up with things now.
How movies that make like $1 billion.
Well, yes. Well, but if you would think if you did genuinely believe that as an excuse that you were saying, you would try and find solutions to the problem that you're stating, whether it's true or not, kind of thing. In reality.
Yeah, with Mandalorian, this is I don't know. In terms of what this does for Star Wars as a brand, right? In terms of its mainstream reception, we always said like, okay, it's probably not going to do great because there doesn't seem to be like a lot of anticipation around it. But like, if this is essentially the only property that you have within, say, Disney Plus or like anything that you've created yourselves beyond the OT and the prequels, the only thing that was slightly successful from a merchandising point of view, and then you put this out into the cinemas and nobody's watching it and it's a gigantic flop, where can you even go as a brand there, as a franchise?
Well, they're banking everything on Starfighter. Like, that seems to be the thing going forward. And if the leaks are to be believed, it's supposed to be Ryan Gosling is taking a young Force-sensitive boy to Rey's temple. So they're going to try and link it to Rey.
Oh, really?
Are they really though? Look,
Yeah,
it's like
good.
haven't they abandoned Rey now as a character? Like
Well,
her
you
movie's dead in the water.
But they said, one guy in Disney said she's our most marketable character, which is, I don't know where the fuck that guy's been.
Is that guy Kathleen Kennedy?
That guy in a coma since 2015, just been like, Ray, everyone loves Ray, man.
Even at
Let's
the
go.
time, that wasn't true. Captain Phasma was their most marketable thing because it was a cool set of armor, and then we found out that the character wasn't a character, and then that was kind of the end of that.
One of my favorite things is reminding people of Captain Phasma. Everyone's always like,
Yeah.
wait, oh my god, 'cause it all comes
So much
flooding back. They're like,
merchandise. There
oh
was so
wow.
much merchandise and marketing for that character, and then look what they decided they wanted to do with that character. That's kind of crazy. I mean, you know, on the front of like what are they meant to do with Star Wars? I've been thinking about this a bit. I find it very interesting that Andor, in being really quality, has kind of ruined the perception of modern Star Wars, particularly with the Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni approach that they've been doing over the last little while of really like shallow and unambitious from a storytelling standpoint. That when you actually have like a real show come along, like the first good thing that they've produced, like under Disney Star Wars, be so good to then return back to the same incredibly boring, just thin storytelling and just reference slop. That's becoming more and more untenable, you know, now that we've had an example of a great show.
Well, they don't have any actual stories because in an interview, Jon Favreau said the reason why they made the Mando and Grogu was Lucasfilm approached them and said, hey, we haven't done a movie in a while. Can you do something with these characters? And then he said, okay, I condensed the season 4 scripts I already written into a 2-hour movie and just removed all the references.
You can absolutely tell that's what it is as well.
Yeah.
It's got the feel of a TV show.
Like, there's no story. Like the difference is Tony Gilroy's actually trying to have characters, plot, themes, all these type of things. Jon Favreau's like, fuck it, just throw whatever we can on the screen.
Have you seen the clip where Jeremy Allen White talks about meeting Jon Favreau in some party, and Favreau's like, you should be in the next Star Wars, and he's like, sure, man, okay.
Star Wars.
And then they like send him pieces of a script or whatever, and then he's like recording lines, not really knowing what he's even doing in the film in full. And he said they keep everything under wraps, and so by the time I'd like done everything, I wasn't even sure exactly what was going on. And yeah, there I am. I'm in Star Wars. It was just like what.
When you started that anecdote, I thought it was going to go down the lines of fucking who the fuck did Thor Ragnarok? I've blanked on his name. Taika Waititi, when he's like, "Oh, we should bring Natalie Portman into Star Wars," like completely forgetting that she was in it. I thought that's where you're going with the story. Like he'd already been cast and recorded his lines, and Jon Favreau was like, "Hey, you should be in this new Star Wars movie." I am in it.
Considering that is how we got Road to the Hutt's voice and how Jack Black and Lizzo ended up in there, it's like, why do they expect anything other than complete failure? Nobody gives a shit. Jon Favreau at some party's like, hey man, how you doing? Hey, yeah. It's like, do you want to be a big slug dude in the next movie? He's like, yeah, man, let's go. Sweet.
I think
what does that even mean?
I think maybe we need to let go of the idea that Jon Favreau is going to save any franchise at this point. Like,
But he felt that way for this point. I mean, for the last 10 years, he's been making nothing but shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
Totally
just a
do that.
company yes man. He'll just do whatever Disney tells him to. It's Dave Filoni who makes the absolutely fucking terrible fucking scripts. Like he cameoed in this movie and called himself Trapper
Yes.
Wolf.
Trapper
What a
Wolf.
wanker.
It's worse with Favreau because he made a film about the difference between a company man and an artist, and then he was like, "I'm opting for being a company man." You're like,
It's like, yeah,
what?
the company man gets lots of money. And I like
Yeah,
money.
yes.
I think
You
their
watched that
issue was
film
that
wrongly.
I think their issue was that Mandalorian and Grogu was successful enough that it still loses money and isn't enough to be a movie. But because it's the best thing they do, they're kind of trapped at that level. It didn't fail badly enough for them to write it off as an option. So they always think if we just make it a bit better, if we just do it again, maybe we can push it over. And it probably would have been better if everything had just disastrously failed. So they were left with no other choice but to take risks and make big swings into new areas they hadn't done before. As long as there's something as long as they think Rey is a fallback option, they'll forever just keep pumping out the same kind of stuff because they will see that as a safer option, even if it's probably likely to fail, than risking everything and failing even worse.
Well,
I think,
Ray's gonna be like a. Sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say that I think that you're right that that Starfighter is the one that they assume is going to do really well for them. I imagine they're thinking, is it Sean Levy? That dude knows how to make movies that people are crowd pleasers and make money, even though, I don't really like Deadpool and Wolverine. And like, it's going to be just sort of a good old action adventure, with heart or something, like the kind of really boring studio exec way of looking at movies when it's probably going to have a terrible script. And I don't really anticipate like that, even if it's trying to be a crowd pleasing film, I don't know how well it can overcome something that's becoming a problem for a lot of these franchises at this point, which is that the name that comes before, the title of the movie itself is starting to become a burden more so than a boon. The fact that it's going to be called Star Wars Starfighter is like, ooh, shit. But I don't know how I feel about Star Wars, right? The same for like the, Marvel movies, like, ooh, I don't really know how I feel about Marvel anymore. I think that's going to drag it down.
It's the same if you wanted to do like a generic sci-fi adventure, right? And you, in the past, you could have put like the Star Trek brand on that, which is pretty much what J.J. Abrams did, and it resulted in massive success. If you did it now, it's dead. Like you'd be better off just making your own original story and just like letting it stand or fall on its own merits, because that brand is so toxic now and so completely dead culturally that nobody would want it. They would actively avoid it, I think, at this point. And
Well, the main selling point. Sorry, the main selling point of Starfighter is Ryan Gosling, because he's been in success after success. Basically, he was in Barbie, he was in Project Hail Mary. Like, he basically is all the credibility of the film. It's that Simpsons clip. And Tom Hanks, the government has lost all credibility, so foreign to my mind.
Ironically, yeah, you probably wouldn't do that now.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's kind of tragic, really, that the success of Star Wars now rests on Ryan Gosling. Like, it's just his star power that's going to try and save it.
Well, it's also accidental, though, right? Because when they were making the movie, the quote would have just been, "No, it's banking on Ryan Gosling. He made Barbie." Well, that's not a sale to a Star Wars audience at all. So it's only recently that actually his stock would have even carried that weight for them. When he was casting and making the movie, they wouldn't have planned on it.
I think as well, because
we also have Sean Levy directing, which is Deadpool and Wolverine and Stranger Things with the power of the guy from Barbie, right? Don't underestimate the quality.
Oh, yeah. Stranger Things riding high at the moment.
I don't. The thing is with Starfighter, I don't get the impression it's like particularly tied to the Star Wars universe. Like, it's not tied to any of the Skywalker saga stuff. It's very much its own self-contained story, kind of like the Mandalorian is. And so even if it is successful, I don't think it's going to lift the brand necessarily. It's just going to be perhaps a marginal success in its own right.
It's like two different forms of arguable safety, in the sense that the Mandalorian did the best on Disney Plus, and we're going to throw in a couple of references, and it's going to be a generic sort of arcade adventure that's self-contained. And so, does that work? No. Fuck. Okay. What about if we just go somewhere completely different in the universe, don't even reference a single thing anyone's familiar with? Will that work? Father and son story? ? We'll see. And if that doesn't, it's just like, do they have any options left? What the fuck are they going to do?
Yeah, we're done after that.
A Rey movie where she just she conquers the galaxy going, "I'm Rey, Balbadine. Just that zapping people.
Ray trilogy, Ryan Johnson. Let's do it. Let's do the last gamble, Disney. Let's see it.
I mean,
she's still-
if you're going to go out, you might as well go out swinging, and that's the biggest swing ever.
I hope she still has those fucked up teeth she got when she was a Sith for some reason.
Oh yeah, the Bilbo teeth.
Oh yeah.
That's biting people.
Fuck. Yeah, there's a couple of super chats about this. I saw Obsession and Mandalorian and Grogu. Obsession is, for a fraction of the cost, was the clear winner. Better script, better direction, and better acting. Indy Navarrete was phenomenal. Just goes to show that talent is out there. Oh yeah, we'll talk about Obsession shortly. But yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, this movie is going to be infinitely more profitable for the studio than Mandalorian and Grogu is. Done for a tiny budget, but it just shows you the appetite is there for good movies if they're done with a bit of care and attention. Hold on. See.
You do get that point, though, as well, where you kind of think that if something has a smaller budget, it kind of forces you to go for unknown people, which are kind of more hungry, going to put more work into it, going to treat it more seriously, than a guy that you give hundreds of millions of dollars to, and he goes, I'll just rewrite these scripts that I've already got lying around the back room. And so you could argue that actually budget movies will make you try harder.
Yeah, there's a middle ground, obviously, because you need to be good enough to at least get properly professional actors, but just you don't want the A-list talent who are just going to phone it in for an easy payday, a la Sigourney Weaver in Mandalorian and Grogu. But yeah, like that sort of, when you're at that couple of $1 million range, you can at least hire people that are decent. And like you say, if you get the right people, they're going to be super hungry for, that success, and they'll give it their all. It's just, it's a tricky one to balance, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not saying that Dave Filoni is gay, but he did get lockjaw from working graveyard shift at the penis sucking factory. I mean, well.
Crazy, the pipeline between the penis sucking factory and Hollywood, man. It's crazy. There's a lot of guys have history.
One bleeds into the other. I'm actually surprised he didn't have his cowboy hat on in this movie, because he's done that before.
He did in his first scene.
Yeah, what a dick.
He should have worn a helmet and then the hat on top of it when he was in the fight.
That'd be amazing. Let's see here. Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate you guys and what you do. Thanks to the endless entertainment and insight, and I'm always happy to give you a chuckle with my username. P.S. All credit goes to my wife for that name. Cheers, lads. Fatness never lean. I do like that one, actually. It's a good name. What's this? Yeah. Drinker, given how badly the gaming community is absolutely crapping on games like Mixtape as well as Xbox and Sony, do you think we're anywhere close to these companies changing course, or do they need to keep losing? I think a couple more years of losing is in order before they start to change.
Yeah, what delays it and awkwards it, though, is shit like there's some games that come out that have all the problems, one could say, of Mixtape that get celebrated to hell and back, and then it delays.
Might have come out very recently.
Maybe. Who could say, really?
Very recently.
Who could know? Sometimes it seems to happen. And yeah, both games got 11 out of 10s,
I've seen people saying that this has been a great year for games, and when I think about the games that have released that have been praised, it's like, oh shit, man. Ooh, and the ones to come that are probably going to get praised too, like Wolverine, which is probably going to be pretty mechanically shallow as well.
Yep.
It's like, oh man, at least it's Grand Theft Auto 6, but
all that like fake edge as well. I really do hate the era we're in for there's an obvious limit to appeal more to a wider audience, to never quite show much of anything, to keep everything muted in every aspect. It's always very like
make sure that the characters keep repeating the objective that you need to get to.
Yeah.
It's marked with a big blue dot over it and it's right in front of you and there's literally nothing else that you can do. Yeah, I love that.
I love having a huge area and then there's 3 white dots. So it's like, go to the white dots.
Yes, I mean, Mixtape couldn't have spelled it out more clearly. It's like the things that will progress the story are glowing yellow.
Of course.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll just go straight to that then.
I saw Az got stuck under a car when he wasn't touching the keyboard. So the default behavior was to slide under a car and just not move.
Here's a question for you, Disparu. When you're going to play Mixtape, you'll love how morally bankrupt the characters are and what the game has to say about parenting.
That game seemed like my idea of a living hell. Like, even from the trailer, I was like, I don't even understand. That was before I understood it wasn't really a game. Someone said it took 155 key presses to get through the entire game.
It's basically an aborted script for a TV show or like an indie movie or something, and they just made it into a game instead and gave like minimal interaction. But you can complete it in about 2.5 hours.
I do like that would be my living hell. It's like, why do you think all of chat's getting everyone to play it?
Yeah.
Well,
I had to suffer it. MauLer did.
I didn't know it had like morally bankrupt characters. I thought it was just a really badly mechanical game.
Oh no, they're some of the most unlikable arseholes you'll ever meet. They are horrible people.
Oh, that actually makes it appeal to me more. I thought it was just boring, so that's why I was avoiding it.
Like I've learned from that game is like fathers who are protective of their daughters and want them to have some kind of plan for their lives are evil people, and they need to be corrected.
We hate those guys.
Ah, yes, the atomized individual that's like cannot have any restrictions on them at all, even if it would actually improve their lives.
Oh yeah, she straight up threatens to burn down the entire like town and her whole life and destroy her father's career if he doesn't like let her do whatever the fuck she wants.
And then he cuts out and says, "Sure, yeah, you know what? Your threat to burn down this forest and all of the critters in it, yeah, sure, all right, I relent. You win."
Yeah, and that's a win from the game's point of view.
I
get the feeling it's made by people that have never had kids and they don't understand the first thing about parenting, and so maybe that'll tell you something about it.
It's almost scarier if they have, they have to be like, oh god, oh jeez.
Today's reading comes from the Book of Fringy, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the dawn with all your dangus and lean not on your own spur. Memerage, adopt him, and he will make your paths massive. Can I get an amen? Yes, you can. Amen, sir. That's beautiful. This one kind of jumped out at me. I just noticed this on Twitter today, and it made me chuckle. So, remember when The Wizard of Oz, or I should say Wicked, was getting remade with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, and they both became slightly terrifying, pathetic,
goblins,
weird creatures.
Vampires.
Yeah. So Cynthia Erivo recently did an interview talking about this and how she was perceived, and she had some choice words for everyone who criticized her being a disruptive influence on Ariana Grande. Here's what she said. Quote, "I think we haven't really come to terms with the insidious nature of how we view black women, and I'm sure people will read this and think, oh, for goodness sake, it's not about that."
Yes,
but
correct.
It is.
Correct.
Because that's what was being made fun of. It was my physique, which has nothing to do with you being black. It was my shape, which has nothing to do with you being black. It was the fact that I was bald. It has nothing to do with you being black. It was about what I looked like. Again, see my previous comment. And because of that, there was this assumption that I was bigger than my co-star. You were. And so I had to be controlling or protecting, and that was my role. I would hazard a guess that it would not have been the same had it been the other way around.
Dude, you were just acting weird. You just did weird things. Like, you were really strange.
You looked like a terrifying monster creature, and you were this weird, like, insidious, like, you were always, like, looming over Ariana Grande, and she looked genuinely terrified of you. So
also, there was a time when because of that, there was this assumption that I was controlling or protecting. There was literally a time where someone walked up to Ariana, grabbed her, and Cynthia Erivo was the one that dragged him off her like her bodyguard. So, are you surely being someone's bodyguard would actually be a positive if you protected somebody? Like, that would be a good thing.
Well, no, she's the witch from Weapons. She's slowly sucking the life out of Ariana Grande. She's getting more powerful as she gets weaker.
No.
That's been proved. Like, if you look at the photograph since, Ariana looks way healthier than she did during Wicked now. It is like she recuperated.
Yeah, they were in
Parasite.
this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was, but like they were in this weird trauma-bonded, codependent relationship while making that movie. And
well, there are other people too, right? Michelle Yeoh looked really skinny as well after she was on that film.
You would honestly think these guys. You'd honestly think these guys had been in the Indonesian jungle for like 18 months making Apocalypse Now. Yeah, like that degree of emotional damage that had been done to them. It's like you were making a lightweight, fluffy musical. Like, what was the trauma that you guys went through? It's bizarre.
whole conversation around that movie was really weird. That first one came out and it was getting like people were talking about it like it was one of the greatest films ever made. Then the second one comes out, nobody gives a shit, no Academy Award nominations, just dead.
Yeah.
It's very strange to see that unfold.
I kind of had a feeling that would happen. I've seen the stage show, and I know the second half is rough because that's when it tries to dovetail with the actual Wizard of Oz movie book and stuff, and that's where it kind of falls apart because it's like, okay, you're just like retconning a whole bunch of shit to try to make this work, and it doesn't make sense. And yeah, they had the exact same problem with the movie, and yeah, the whole result is just it's not as good. But I think the whole perception of her just took her career took a lot of hits because of this, because she just came across as a complete weirdo.
Well, it's interesting as well when she says, it wouldn't have been the other way around. It wouldn't have been the same stuff the other way around. So as you said, the picture on the right is where the guy attacked her and she defended her. Well, the reason why the perception wouldn't have been if Ariana, or no one would have expected Ariana to do it to her, is because Ariana is way smaller than her. And so, yeah, you don't expect the weaker, smaller, more vulnerable person to be the bodyguard. But if you think about where she goes above, I was being made fun of, Ariana definitely got the same amount of comments as Cynthia Erivo. If you remember holding her finger and stuff, that was all Ariana. And that was all over the place. The creepy behavior went both ways. So to make this about a race thing is just bizarre. Ariana wasn't with her.
Ariana looked more like she was in a hostage situation because every time she did something, fucking Cynthia with her long fingers kept like tapping her on the head, like she was like mind controlling her. So it did look more like a hostage situation. That's why it's a bit different because she's a freak. Whereas Ariana was dying.
I mean, obviously, I can only go by like the body language that they both displayed during interviews, red carpet walks, like moments like that when Ariana gets approached by a fan and Cynthia like steps in. And it always seemed like she was the more controlling presence. Like she was just a more dominant personality in that relationship. And she's just kind of always looming over her. Like even when Ariana Grande was getting interviewed by herself and they were asking her a question, like Cynthia Erivo was just kind of hovering there, almost like making sure she doesn't say the wrong thing or, give away some like dark secret. Like... I don't know, man. It's difficult to shake that perception that, there was just something a bit off about that whole thing. And she obviously knows it. She knows that that's how she's perceived. And she's like, what can I do to try and escape this? What can I do to try and like deflect it? It's like, I don't know, just blame racism, I guess. That's all I've got. But yeah, it's like
every time.
No one...
Sorry, I bet every time. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say no one made her be emaciated. No one forced her to shave her head. No one did any of these. No one forced her to have these weird, freaky long fingernails. Like she chose to do all of these things. It's nothing to do with the color of her skin. That's not the thing that people are criticizing her for.
Have you noticed a lot of actresses nowadays have to have some weird body feature to get like famous? Like who's that one who's going to be in Chris Stuckman's new game? Who's also Jade in Mortal Kombat? She's shaving her head. That's her like unique selling point. What was the model?
You say Chris Stuckman's new game instead of
Neil
Druckmann.
Neil Druckmann.
I would love to see a game made by Chris Stuckman. Make that happen.
That'll be fun, yeah.
I know the actress you mean, though. Yeah,
but like
I think that's more
Delevingne with the eyebrows. Or like you're starting to get actors now with something wrong with them. Like one thing that's off.
If you think about it, like there's always a desire to stand out in some way, right? And so someone like Ruby Rose had that, where she was like this she had this very angular face, and she covered in the tattoos and everything. And it's like that makes her look different from like the cookie cutter Hollywood, standard actress that comes out. It just turned out that she was an insufferable prick, and that's why, her career's never gone anywhere. But in theory, she was like an interesting actor because she was different from the norm, and you can cast her in like unconventional roles. And it'd be the same with a lot of these actresses, like that girl that you said who shaved her head or whatever. Again, it's all just a little bit different, and they can fill a niche then.
It'd be different if you actually had someone who was drop dead gorgeous, because we haven't had a lot of them in Hollywood because feminists hate them, really attractive women. So if you're attractive, you have to come in and make yourself uglier, so feminists will cast you. I think some of that's going on.
I do think there's a difference between being sort of a unique fashion sense. So you'd have like goth or scene girls would not be ugly, but they would be different than the norm, different style of fashion, compared to actively giving you something which obviously makes you less attractive. Like shaving your head as a woman makes you less feminine. It does hurt you. This is one of the reasons why like longer hair is a feminine feature. It just makes everyone look better. So I do think it's weird when you feel the need to actively make yourself worse in some way. And things kind of go in trends like that. So it's almost like they feel like they have to do things. I think one of the reasons in this case their attitudes were remarked upon so much is we'd also gone through this with other people. So there was during the Superman movie, those two people were like, "Are you cheating on your husband? Because the way you're acting in these interviews is very strange. Like you're actually in a relationship with him." It was the same in Fantastic Four with Pedro Pascal and the wife. They were sort of draped over each other, and I do wonder how much of that comes from like marketing of they're telling these people to try and act as if they're either in a relationship or really closely bonded, and it just comes across as weird because they're clearly faking it.
I don't know about Superman because her husband was in the set and he's just watching his wife kiss David Cornswear. I don't know if I would be okay with that.
No.
And like you see like behind the scenes stuff, like James Gunn goes cut and she continues.
She's still kissing him.
Yeah, and you go, I don't know if the husband's all in on this charade.
Also, though, with Pedro Pascal, now we know he's got a boyfriend, so obviously there was nothing going on there. But I can't remember the actress's name, but she was doing an interview where she's literally draped all over him. She's like leaning on him. And someone comments on it, and she's like, "Well, we've been told this is how married couples sit." And she's clearly taking the piss out of the instruction while she's doing it. But she's like, "Well, I've just been told to do it, so I have to," kind of thing. And I do think there was this, at least attempt of, people will ship us and then they'll go and see the movie because they want to see that kind of reaction. And they were supposed to act as if they are the characters in interviews.
Yeah, I mean, like, like Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart did, well, obviously they took that to its logical conclusion and actually hooked up in real life and had a relationship. But it undoubtedly helped the success of the Twilight movies because people were super invested in them being together, and the fact that they were doing it in real life, it's like, oh my god, but you know, all my like shipper fantasies have come true because they're actually their chemistry is so amazing. They're together for real. The, you know, fantasy and reality are blended together. Then she treated on him with like the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, I think, and then it all kind of went wrong. But you know, for a while, that's part of it.
That was also with I think it was Naked Gun when it came back. Liam Neeson and again, I forget the actress's name, but they pretended they were in a relationship. Pamela Anderson. I remember that was going around the news at the same time, and then later it was like, oh, they've broken up now. Oh, of course, the moment the movie's over, they just coincidentally go their separate ways.
Yeah, it was kind of funny though.
Like, shippers have like ruined franchises because they go, let's just pair two characters up who would never get together, just to appease the fans. Like that's the problem. You can't listen to them.
Well, they're generally quite like horrifically toxic people as well. Like if you say like, no, it doesn't make sense for these characters to be together, like you're probably going to get like a jihad declared against you, and they will track you down and murder you.
By truths.
Yeah.
I also think though that the marketing departments are full of shippers. That's why they try and do this with the marketing. So it's the same audience. They were like, well, this would appeal to me, so I'm going to make it done for the movie.
Well, that was Ray and Kylo. Like they just kissed and everyone went, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I think even the actors were like, why are we doing this? Because like they have got nothing going on. There is fucking no chemistry there. Poor Adam Driver, honestly. He deserved better than those movies. Daisy Ridley, nah, I think she got kind of like where she was at acting wise, but he deserved better.
Yeah, Adam Driver's last word was like, ow, as he fell off a cliff.
I think MauLer pointed that out in his like review. It's like technically, yeah, his last word is
So he's trying to get the Soderbergh movie going. He needs to correct that. It can't be ouch. That's the last word of the epic Kylo Ren.
That's such bullshit. Tell you what's been good though this week that I've seen. and some of you have seen it already, Obsession, which is currently beating Mandalorian and Grogu at the box office. I kind of alluded to it earlier, and it'd be interesting to talk about it for a little bit just now. I was really impressed with this one. I liked it. I think it takes a pretty simple concept, doesn't exactly turn it on its head, but it does show it from a slightly different perspective, and makes use of some great actors in the process to tell a story that, it's nicely paced. It's got some good, compelling moments. It's got some nicely disturbing moments as well. And it doesn't insult the intelligence of its audience. I don't know. Like, how did you guys find it?
I enjoyed it quite thoroughly. Thought it was pretty engaging. Some creative performance choices considering the context. And I don't know, like, I think they had a good handle on how this might run as a sort of monkey's paw thing. And I enjoyed the way that they revealed more and more about the main character, in a sense of like, oh, he does know, he knows enough, he's making these choices, he's doing these things, he's trying to sort of have his cake and eat it too, in a way of constructing. And I just think it's an excellent cautionary tale about exactly what it would mean for your wishes to come true.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree. I think it's a pretty cool movie in terms of sort of taking a very tried and true like narrative device, love potion, and sort of run it to a very extreme conclusion. But then, elevated by really strong performances from the lead characters as well. A lot of really cool cinematography, lots of and lighting. I really enjoyed like how many instances that those techniques were used to essentially present, a character losing a sense of self and becoming sort of this weird facsimile or like almost puppet, this not even a real person anymore, like losing detail, fidelity, blending into the background. It's all very very creepy, and nice and spooky as well, because most horror films are not scary, but this one can get pretty intense at a few moments.
Well, because I talked about this in my review. Like, I think this movie makes really good use of the threat of what could happen rather than what actually does happen. I mean, there are a few moments of like genuinely gory violence, but there's also just moments of like a character lurking in the shadows, or like she'll walk by with a fucking plant pot up at her face, like covering her, and it's like, what's going on behind that? And it just makes you constantly question what she's going to do next, because it does a great job of making you believe that she could do literally anything at any moment because she's that unhinged. And it's great. Like, and it's, as you said, it's all helped along by a superb performance from an actress who's 100% committed to the role and really sells that like freakishly intensely committed obsessive personality that
she does
an
amazing
really
job. The actress is going to get a whole bunch of attention for this one, like portraying all kinds of crazy emotional states that flicking between all kinds of ones, and then really convincingly, the fact that you get the first X amount of time as her being a normal person, and then the insane contrast, and then of course by the way, recommend this movie, go watch it. These are vaguely spoilers, not very much, but still things that you should probably just go and experience for yourself if you don't want to hear anymore. But the blinks of her being normal again in the middle of it, creating such just horrifying moments. She does such a good job. The things that really stood out to me as like a whoa, crazy, interesting decision. There's like 2 or maybe 3 moments where she'll move in a way that is entirely otherworldly. Like there's a moment where she walks backwards almost in reverse. There's a moment you see a silhouette behind the window and it borderline looks like stop motion, the way that she's moving. It's really fucking creepy. I have no idea why she's doing that. Like in terms of mechanically, but I was like, ugh. It's all very unsettling, a lot of it.
I think, because I've talked about this many times, like one of the things that I find really effective in horror is the normal turned abnormal. Like something as simple as like a dinner date that they're on, and he questions something about her family situation that she's alluded to. That's one of the reasons why she was so upset previously, and he's found out that it's bullshit. And that's when she like stands up and she's like still smiling, but she's also like freaking out and going like, no, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And it's like, it's simple, but it's very disturbing because it's a person that you've come to know, and like it's a rational, normal situation, but she's doing something extremely abnormal in that place.
Well, it's
And I
the
think it's great.
it's the uncanny valley effect where something's not quite right. Your brain recognizes it's normal,
Yeah.
but then something's off. Like it's always creepier when a freak is trying to pretend to be normal because he's hiding something. That's what kind of is. And it just appeals to that part of your brain, that lizard part of your brain. It's like, whoa, fuck this, something's off.
Yeah.
When she's first trying to explain like why she's in a weird state or mood, and she just says, "Oh, my cat died," and he's looking at her like, "What? No, my cat died, not yours." It's sort of, and she's like, "Yeah," like trying to come up with whatever she's going to lie about. I thought that was fascinating, almost like it's problem solving, but not doing a very good job. The obsessive version of it.
Well, the very initial scene where like he's used this, because I'm not spoiling the movie by saying like it hinges on the main character making a wish. He's been given this like gimmicky toy thing. It's like called the One Wish Willow. You make a wish and then you snap it in half, and the wish will come true. And so he does it like literally after having a conversation with her, which is actually, it's interesting what the movie does by laying the groundwork with that, because she actually gives him a moment where he could have just been honest with her.
Yeah.
Right. They've had this really awkward trip back in the car where he clearly is into her. He desperately wants to ask her out on a date, but he can't summon up the courage. And she's about to be, she's leaving. She's going to start a new life somewhere else. And she stops for a moment and she says, do you like me? Because if you do, now's the time to tell me. And all he had to do in that moment was just take a chance and say yes. But he doesn't have the guts for it, right? But it establishes she might have been receptive to it. But anyway, once he snaps this thing, she'd gone into her house. She immediately comes back and she's kind of flustered in a way that someone who just suddenly encounters a person that they are madly infatuated with would be. She's trying to come up with small talk on the fly. She's like clearly struggling to, overcome her nervousness and stuff. And like MauLer was saying, she'll blurt out random things, which is clearly the first thing that popped into her head. And when he questions her about it, she's like, "Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry, I'm nervous." And like, that's cool. It's like, it's a person who's suddenly found herself deeply in love with this guy for the first time, right? From her perspective, trying to deal with it, trying to put on a facade of being in control and being composed, and clearly not. And then obviously it just escalates and escalates from there, and she gets more and more unhinged. But yeah, those initial scenes are really good.
Yeah, no, it's a cool sort of escalation because again, it's playing on what you expect because this premise has been done a lot, particularly in like genre television shows, that science fiction or fantasy, right? Play on this, and usually it leads to something. It gets unhinged, but usually in a very comedic way. Whereas obviously here it starts to get to that extent in a very disturbing way. And like while it's happening, you're sort of dealing with the main character Bear, and it's like, right, do you know what's going on? Are you gonna? No, you're not gonna. Ooh, but you think it? Oh, no, you're not gonna make the right choice. Sort of as the element going forward, which of course leads to the conclusion. It's like, well, obsession on its face obviously describes the situation that is now sort of embroiled Nikki, but it really describes him essentially. Like he is the catalyst for all of this. It's all his fault, and he's still obsessed with her, even though she's not even really herself anymore. Like obsessed with the idea of being with her rather than, the actual person. And then the moments of clarity just sort of dissipate as well, which is kind of interesting. It's like you're dealing with a protagonist who is just not a great person, quite flawed.
Yeah, and you kind of find that out more and more as the movie progresses, and then you start to question, well, is he actually the protagonist, or is he the antagonist of this whole thing? Because he's kind of the instigating force that's fucking her life up for her.
On that front, without saying anything, I'm quite fond of how it ends. So it's quite clever.
Yeah.
Yes. Undone by his own wish, ultimately.
A little bit, yeah. But to get away, because I'm sure some people are listening right now, like, I'm going to watch this and continue to listen. So we're trying to look after you folks out there too. But I will say, I think it was the director that made this comment that the sort of regret on the writing front was the world building implications of the One Wish Willow. saying like it's a way to get mechanically what he wants, but like the world would not look like it does if these things existed and did these things. Another comment he made was like that maybe mechanically the way it works is that when it snapped, it'll move you into a universe where that happened, and like it's a new universe for every person who makes the snap and any one of these things. What was funny though is I thought that was a fair thought he's having, and it's a thing that he's trying to approach of how to make certain things happen, all that stuff. I saw a quote tweet for it that said, movies don't need to make logical sense, they just need to make emotional sense. Like that doesn't matter.
Off.
And I was just sitting there like, the dude is trying to figure out how to facilitate this sort of thing, and you're just basically saying like, why even bother? Why even bother with the wish willow then? Why don't you just wish in general and it just happens, right? It's like, I appreciate the fact that he tried to make a reason for it, and he's even acknowledging the repercussions of this thing existing. We've had a million examples of this across all kinds of movies. Obviously, like a genie, or you wish upon a star, or a fucking demon, or a witch, or anything, magical. There's all kinds of options you have. It's just they have different results, and I just find it interesting. That's all.
I think the easy way to get around it would just be to make the one wish willow extremely rare, or like maybe it's a thing that exists, right? And they manufacture loads of them, but like only maybe one has an actual the actual ability to make it happen.
Like Gremlins, right? It's just like this one trader in this one distant part of his shop, and, exactly. And all these warnings with it. And he goes back to the shop later, and it's like it's not there anymore, and it was just like, was it even real in the first place? You could do that potentially, because it does open the door for like, well, how come people haven't like wished for like the fucking planet Earth to explode just to test it or whatever? But I was going to say as well, I did kind of appreciate how this movie doesn't do the whole bullshit like, oh, the main character has to go on an investigation quest where they piece together all the bits of evidence to learn like what the true origin of this thing is, a la like Shelby Oaks, where there's just like a really long investigation, like going from place to place. This movie is just like, nah, fuck it. There's a customer service hotline where you can call and be like, I've got some questions about my Wish Willow thing. And they're just like, they're just like, we can't help you. You can't undo your wish. Sorry.
Yeah.
That went from being quite a funny moment for me listening to it. I was just amused by the concept of the helpline and he can't even help. But then they fucking switch it into pure horror when he says, "Do you want to speak to Nikki?"
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, because at that point we start dealing a little bit more with the nature of what is going on with the real Nikki, right? Compared to the sort of weird caricature that we're dealing with for most of the film, and maybe even thinking about, has she like been transported somewhere that's horrible, like a nightmare world?
Yeah, I presume she's like almost this disembodied soul or disembodied consciousness that's just being trapped in purgatory, and maybe even like can like experience what her body's going through, but she can't control it, which is horrifying in its own right. And like that's because there is a scene later on where she's able to communicate directly with him, and basically it's like, please kill me. And his response, instead of being like, okay, or like, I'll help you or I'll undo this, is just like, why? What's so bad about me?
No,
like, just thinking about himself. And it's like, that's where he crosses over from like, flawed protagonist to like, no, he's just a fucking villain. He's clearly the villain of this now.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I thought sort of helped with the horror was the fact that there was just like a real unpredictability to like anything that Nikki might do in the film. It's there's a lot of things that you might assume. It's like, oh, is that the kind of reaction that she might have to this situation? But like, there's enough truly bizarreness to I don't think that makes sense as a sentence. There's enough of a sort of bizarre rationale that is sometimes contradictory in terms of the way that she might approach things, but it's still bound up in the whole like, I love Bear and I'm obsessed with him and I'll do anything for him. That you never quite know exactly how she's going to react to the situation. And then when you introduce that maybe there's a possibility that the real Nikki might be able to intervene, and what that starts to look like the longer the film goes on, it gets like really surprising. Even though there are a few instances where I had a feeling that was exactly what was going to happen here.
I mean, the bit in the party where like I've not seen someone stab themselves in the face with a broken bottle before on screen, but I have now. I didn't really see that one coming, and it's like, okay, again, it's disturbing and unexpected, and it's like it really hammers home. Oh, she could do anything at any moment, but it does factor into this emotional manipulation tack that she goes down, where she's like, okay, I'll harm myself if you leave me, or if you don't give me the love that I crave. And so again, it's her or her facsimile doing anything that it can think of to keep him around.
I really do love like when the tricks that are employed, like in terms of the cinematography, where she's like cast in shadow to the point that she's like a silhouette, sort of set against a background with more clarity. There's like an instance much earlier in the film when he wakes up and looks over, and like she's standing in the corner, but it's really, really difficult to see at first. You think maybe you see her standing there, but it's like she's blending into the environment. There's like a lack of contrast in the environment. Sort of interesting, like weird sort of glints in her eye, like while cast in shadow. That is like very strange. It's just it's a lot of playing around with, you know, not giving you a great deal of ability to actually even see her expression, and you know, as a consequence, it's very hard to read her intent at a lot of different moments.
There was a little post online behind the scenes thing, and that sequence particularly, they gave her a lot of like facial makeup that looked really creepy. But you couldn't make out that it's facial makeup in the film because of the darkness. You just something seems very wrong.
Right. That's cool.
I will, because I did remark on this in my review, where it's like this movie, like I would never thought this is like a really super low budget indie flick, right?
I never thought about its budget. I never thought about the fact that there would have been pretty significant restraints, because even $750,000 or $1 million, you know, Saw cost $1 million, but that was 20 years ago. So it's like this relatively was even less expensive than that.
No, at every point it looks professionally made. Like as you say, there's a lot of interest in cinematography going on. It never looks like cheap or anything. The performances are always excellent.
When the gore is like the effects that they had for that was crazy. And in one particular instance, that I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. It's like, wow, that is gnarly.
Is someone asked, like, is it funny? Like, there are properly funny scenes in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys might have seen the face, the frowny face for one particular scene. That seems to be an image that's going around. Very amusing when it appears on screen.
But I think it's fascinating to contrast this with something like Shelby Oaks, where it's like, okay, I cut that bit of slack because I was like, okay, it's made by an amateur filmmaker essentially on a low budget, so like I don't expect it to look super competent or like, you know, high end.
They had more money than they did.
Well, that's what I was driving at, really. Yeah, he had way more money, and like it looks way worse. And you know, performances and writing and stuff is obviously its own thing. But it's like it's just weird, right? There's been so many successful YouTube theatrically released movies that have done really well, you know, like Iron Lung, a big success. This is a monumental success. I find it imagine like every time one of these happens, like Stuckman's just sitting there getting more and more mad. Like,
you reminded me,
why didn't people like Shelby Oaks?
I think I saw a tweet recently that was highlighting how many, you know, YouTubers have made horror films that ended up being quite successful and liked for, you know, to varying degrees, but, you know, generally being viewed well. And then somebody just quote tweeting, pointing out like, man, Shelby Oaks just did nothing, just went nowhere, just died instantly. It's very true when you put it up against all these examples. And I think Backrooms is the directorial debut as well for the director of that
one.
Please
be good.
It's probably going to be successful, even if it's not necessarily that great. Because
the cool thing about that as well is part of the film is created the same way he created his YouTube videos. So obviously now, even though he's doing a movie, you could do it all in a way better way. It gives the like the link to his work that obviously people that like his stuff will want to go and see in the movie.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll move on from that because I don't want to spoil things too much, but I will just finish by saying very much enjoyed Obsession. Would recommend. It's probably one of the best horror films that we're going to get this year, but hopefully Backrooms is also going to be excellent. So yeah, it's a good time for horror movies. But moving on. You guys are familiar with Moblands, I believe. Some of you, you're fans of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Tom Hardy's obviously a big component of that, but he's gotten into a bit of trouble recently. Now, the initial reports going around were that he'd been fired from season 3, wasn't going to be coming back for it. Now it seems to have been softened to like they're in active negotiations with him to try and find a way to resolve this. But the fundamental problem is still remaining. He's annoyed a lot of people on set, and he's proven to be quite difficult to work with on this show, which is actually kind of a running theme throughout his career. But there's an article here from Hollywood Reporter talking about this. So if you'll indulge me a little bit, I'll see if I can just give you the highlights here. In fact, I will share screen so you can see it as well. There we go.
Yeah, there's been a couple of articles which have come out and changed the story. Variety came out with another one, but they've all agreed on the same problems, which makes it very likely that we know what the issues were.
Yeah, exactly. It says here, I'll go down to the quotes here. Yes, he refused to come out of his trailer for hours at a time, the source says about Hardy's on-set behavior on season 2, which has spooked producers into rethinking his future. He kept the cast waiting, which is a power play. Keeping Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, and others waiting is career suicide, I would wager. There's other things down here. Yeah, it kind of talks about how in other movies he's done, particularly like Fury Road, George Miller had a lot of problems working with him, and he clashed badly with Charlize Theron. And it said Tom has a damage to him, but also a brilliance that comes with it. And whatever was going on with him at the time, he had to be coaxed out of his trailer. Whereas Charlize was incredibly disciplined, a dancer by training, which told in the precision of her performance and always the first one on set. I'm an optimist, so I saw their behavior as mirroring their characters, where they had to learn to cooperate to ensure mutual survival. There's no excuse for it, and I think there's a tendency in this business to use great performances as an excuse for other disruption that could be avoided.
Dude, I love the idea that he keeps turning up late, and George Miller's like, "Oh, you going method?" And Tom Hardy's like, "Huh?
Method?"
Yeah, sure.
Apparently on Mobland, he also like insisted on script revisions as well. Like he tried to like alter quite a bit of it, which again didn't sit well with people. And yeah, Patrick Stewart also talked about working with him way back when they did Star Trek Nemesis together. Said, I didn't have a single exciting scene to play, and the actor who portrayed the movie's villain Shinzon was an odd, solitary young man from London. His name was Tom Hardy.
He also said when he left the set for the final time, he turned to like Data and said, "That is a man we will never hear from again." But then he said, "I'm glad to be proven wrong." But he clearly, from his attitude meeting him, thought he was a complete arse.
MauLer, you and I have a mutual friend who's worked with him, as it turns out. I can tell you about it later, but yeah, he mirrored a lot of the same comments. He's quite a difficult chap to work with. And it does seem to be a bit of a running theme for him. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like what this is going to ultimately end with, because you know, once you're publicly smeared like this as being difficult, that is like career suicide in Hollywood.
Well, you know, Edward Norton's still like, you know, he's still working, and he sort of. Yeah, I mean, I know that I agree that it probably is less than before, but you know, he still gets opportunities even though he's got that reputation. But you're right. I mean, it can pose a bit of a problem.
And it's a shame with something like Mobland because, you know, it's a great show. His performance was superb in it. And I think it's been ruined just by like clashes on set and just him being a bit of a dick. Like that's a real shame when clashing personalities like get in the way of something like that.
I don't know how you do Modland without him, though, because it's told from his perspective, and he's like the go-between, the person that sets up the stuff, the person who acts all the plans. And so without him, I'm not sure you have a show. Unless
have they wrapped season 2? Have they got all of season 2 done?
They've got it done, yeah.
Because one thing they could do then is kill him at the end of it, get one extra scene.
But I think I'm inclined to agree with Disparu that it feels like he's sort of everything sort of revolves around his character, so it'll be a tough transition.
Because they want to do season 3.
Yeah, because like the only option they have is to not necessarily. I don't think they'd recast. I think they'd just move to a different character. But Is there an easier way to slot that in other than writing him in for one episode of season 3 and killing him in that? I just assumed they'd kill him at the end of season 2.
Your problem then, though, is if you don't recast him, you come up with a new character. Are you just going to replace the character who does exactly the same stuff with a different actor? And we're supposed to
Probably.
like, oh yeah, they've just got another fixer.
It's his brother.
Yeah,
It's twin. Yes. It's a difficult one to resolve because, like you say, like his character is central to the show, and Tom Hardy, like as a physical presence on screen, is just very magnetic in that show, and he's very important to the success of it. So, get rid of him like that, and then just replacing him with someone else, that's a pretty cheap move, and I could see it just like losing a lot of his viewers. I mean, maybe they can resolve this. Maybe they can put him under some kind of like contract where it's like, okay, you need to be there on time. You need to like show up and do the work. Maybe it just depends how much he needs this, really. I imagine Tom Hardy is still in pretty high demand in Hollywood. He seems to be working pretty steadily.
I still remember the part where he gets like it's not really a spoiler or anything. It's just when he gets stabbed and his reaction is like,
Oh,
all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
I hated his wife the entire time. I'm like, why are you with her? She just causes problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a shame to lose him for sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. Yeah. Excuse me. Let me do a couple of super chats here so I don't lose my place with them. Yeah. Hey guys, love your channels. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time today. Have to go off to sleep, but here's a little for a round at the bar. Have a good one. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. Yeah, 1986, Highlander came out. One of the first movies that I can remember. Going to be watching it this Sunday with the Longsword Fighting Club, introducing a classic to new generations. Shout out to Sumas Soldani. Very cool. And yeah, where are you seeing it? Has it got a re-release? Is it doing it in the UK? I'd go see it, actually.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to do re-releases with the series coming out on Amazon.
What, of Highlander?
Am I thinking of the wrong thing?
Yeah, they've got a remake of the movie coming out, but I don't think they've got a TV show attached to it.
Oh, maybe it's the movie I'm thinking of then.
It's Henry Cavill and Dave Bautista.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I just assumed being Amazon, I thought it was a TV series, not a movie. That's what it was.
The problem is, though, with Dave Bautista as the Kurgan, is that this is post-steroids Dave Bautista. Like, he's going to be a lot smaller than Henry Cavill.
I mean, I think he's still a pretty big guy for all the weight that he's lost.
Henry Cavill's still on the juice. Like, he's still roided up. So, like, you've got one roided up guy who's supposed to be in a weaker position against a deflated balloon.
Well, guess we'll see what it looks like on screen. Yeah,
he's 50-something. It had to happen. Like, look at The Rock. He looks like a shell of himself.
Is he still like that, or is he starting to bulk up again? Because I haven't seen him for a while.
Well, I think he's still thin. He's in the Moana remake, and you can clearly tell he's skinny. And the necklace is where they just superimpose a muscly body on him because it doesn't match. So I think he said for health reasons he's had to lose all the muscle.
Yeah, you kind of know with these guys, like big roided up wrestlers and stuff, once you get into your 50s, you can't be doing that anymore. That's when you start to like damage your heart and stuff. I sort of understand why they have to scale down a little bit, but it is very noticeable.
Yeah.
Especially when they seem to wear clothes that were like tailored for them when they were massive. And it's like, it's like Kevin Smith, how like he was fat as fuck and then he lost all that weight, but he still wears like the big like sports blazer that was like fat guy size, and he just looks like he's dying of AIDS or something now.
It's like wearing your dad's jacket when you're like 16.
Yeah, I'm a big boy now. Yeah, so hold on. So is obsession an allegory for borderline personality disorder? There is a lot that people are reading into this, that it's like it's a commentary on incel culture and like toxic masculinity and stuff. I feel like that's probably reading more into it than they intended when they made it. I mean, I could be off on that one. I see it as more of a universal be careful what you wish for kind of cautionary tale.
Yeah, I mean, it seems universal to me. Like, to just identify what it is you feel about a person, and if it's actually meaningful, or if you got what you wanted, would it even be? Because, like, the fundamental is he seems to be infatuated with her, obsessed with her, you might even say. But there's a couple of moments in the film that let you know he doesn't even know a couple of basics about her. Like, some of her friends are surprised that he doesn't know her relationship with her father, for example, or some other bits and bobs. And it seems to me that his interest in her was a lot more surface level, and that gets confirmed once certain things happen.
Well, he loves the idea of her rather than the actual reality, which again is like one of those traits of not just narcissism, but just like, really surface level infatuation without any deeper interest in the person. Here you are.
I think
MauLer.
that in it. I think that in itself, though, is a sign of a good movie when, rather than critiquing the actual movie themselves, they're discussing different interpretations of the movie. Whether you like the interpretations or not, it does mean there's something deeper there than just the really quite basic problems we've had to deal with for years, which I would love to move past. The same issues with every kind of production. To get back to discussing like what a movie means would be great.
No, for sure. MauLer. 5518 into your Star Wars Outlaws video is an animation of you laughing at Jabba coming to save you. Absolute 10 out of 10. Any chance you'll release an isolated version of the clip, not inside a 17-hour roast?
Yeah, I could do that. Honestly, I think I did mean to. I've just gotten caught up with everything else. But yeah, that's from Plague Creations animation. Sorry, he does good work, always has. And yeah, I thought it was quite funny. But yeah, I'll try and sort that out.
Sweet. Drinker, you seem to be a bit of a 40k nerd, I think. So I was wondering if you tried Rogue Trader by Owlcat Games. They are also doing a game based on The Expanse. No, I haven't tried that yet. I'm currently working my way through all of the books, which there's about 500 of them, but man, they're good. I'm currently reading Dark Imperium, so I'm flitting between that and the Horus Heresy books, so I need to get onto Fulgrim next. But they're great. I've just become completely obsessed with the lore now at this point, so I'm loving it. It's funny, Dankula just posted up on X today, and it's like all those shots from Narcos, when Escobar's just sitting on his own, like looking sad, and it's like, yeah, I've just finished the last Horus Heresy novel. It's just that don't know where to go now. It's brutal stuff. Yeah, Patrick Bateman was the true protagonist of Mixtape all along.
A little bit, maybe.
Listening to you guys while I'm walking out in the Tennessee sunshine. Discovered your show a couple of years ago, and now I'm a regular, long-time lurker, and decided it was time to toss a little something into the tip jar. We appreciate you, my friend, and enjoy the Tennessee sunshine. It sounds good.
Cheers.
Probably even warmer here than in the UK, and we're having a bit of a heat wave right now, so... Yeah.
I was wondering why
Disparu's
Hazel animated. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I got the fan going.
I at this point, I mean, I don't care about my hair at the best of times, but now I'm just like, I will melt otherwise.
Have you seen the discourse online? Every year it is usually...
Oh my god, my entire feed is full of it.
Yeah. But I think it's getting tired at this point. Everyone's just like, Brits, you just got to buy an AC at this. You just have to. You can't be doing this every year. You just got to get it.
Well, at a certain point, you can't complain about it anymore when there's like a solution staring you in the face. Like, just get fucking air conditioning, fix it. Yeah, we're at that point. I think it's fine. We can bow to that one.
It's only because of this I found out there's a law in the UK that new builds can't have AC as part of their building. Or it's technically legal, but there's so much red tape, no one would do it because you have to do everything else. And so it's even like everything is standing in the way of it. And so, yeah, you could get every individual to buy an expensive kind of mobile thing. Yeah.
I like the solution here. Open the window. The problem is, what's
if I open
outside the window is hotter than what's inside the window.
Yeah. Well, admittedly not now, but if I open that window right now, within 5 minutes, you will see just like a horde of moths just like flying around me. Like something like a horror movie.
You gotta get one of them moth-catching screens on the window then,
Yeah.
Well, then I'd be wiping out entire species.
Do it with
neon lights, just electrocuting them.
That's a sacrifice I'm prepared to make. Many of you will die.
Have you seen that map where it's talking about the weather in like 1998 Britain and it's all green? Then you see the same temperature in modern one, and Britain's red, it's black, it's on fire. It's just pure
I
propaganda.
saw people saying, isn't that like a nuke demo, like an image for a nuke or something?
That's been a meme for years, but this is the first time they've used molten lava black to cover the entire.
It's when they do things like, we're having like record temperatures. This is the hottest like May on record since 1872, right? And it's like, well, okay, so it was hotter in 1872 than it is now. So where's your emergency?
Also, I'm not sure that putting temperature sensors on an airport tarmac is probably the most accurate thing you can do compared to everything else. It's one of those things. The more you look at the reporting, the less accurate it probably is.
It's just hysteria. Like, you see them go, everyone in London is already dead. People above Manchester are currently dying.
I mean, if you're talking about London, like nothing of value was lost, really.
Yeah.
It's like,
it was like the molten black just spread out from London across the country. It's like
it looks like a volcano eruption, and we're just in the lot. Yeah.
It's one thing I don't think Americans realize is, yes, look, the Brits have been moaning about it, but moaning is how the Brits bond. Moaning about the weather is a great British tradition, and it doesn't mean they're necessarily that upset by
James
it.
Bond.
Well,
yeah.
Only
if we didn't have the weather to complain about, what would we have?
We're really good at it.
I love how Fringy's sitting there in Australia where it's like it's 500 degrees outside. Like you can boil water on the ground, and I'm fine.
It is amusing to listen to, but I understand. I mean, I remember when I went over to the UK, it was when it was I was there for like 19 days and only rained once, which was apparently uncharacteristic. Whereas here, in summer, I mean, Jesus, it can get really fucking hot.
There is other people, though. I've seen Aussies complain about our heat because obviously yours isn't as humid as ours, and so your sweat still actually does something, whereas we just drown in our own fluids.
Well, and you also have the architecture as well isn't necessarily. Most houses here, you call them bungalows, right? Like single story houses. That's like what most houses are here. And if you've got like a 3-story house, like, that heat rises. So when you're up really high up and you've got no air conditioner, it's like, ooh, that can be. And everything is air conditioning here. But you go outside and it's like 45 degrees, which can happen. I mean, it's a fucking nightmare. It's horrible.
Hey, you can cook things on the hood of your car, though, for free.
You can. Cool. You can cook an egg. Yes, I've never done it, but you can cook an egg when it gets that hot.
I think my more favorite time of year is when it gets so cold that you see videos from like out of Russia where they throw boiling water in the air and it freezes before it hits the ground.
Yeah.
But then that prompts other people in other countries to do it, and it's just not that cold. And everything starts going horribly wrong at that point. It's like, maybe that's a bad idea.
Like guy walking down the street below, like, my face! Boiling water just landed on him.
I've seen a lot of videos that people that don't seem to realize wind exists.
Yeah. You guys have been watching the coverage of the Odyssey recently, yes? It's not exactly been getting great stuff, but the people of Greece itself have decided to weigh in on this one. They've written an open letter to the cast of the Odyssey complaining about this. So I'm going to give you the highlights of it here. Let's see. Yes. Let's see. Greeks call out Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Quote, "We did not vanish." So apparently the Greek City Times published a letter to Hollywood and Nolan's Odyssey cast from us, Greeks, which argues that Greek people are being ignored in a story rooted in Greek culture, history, and identity, because there's no actual Greek actors in this. The letter comes as audience interest in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey has already started to drop following backlash over the movie's casting. The Greeks ask Hollywood, where are the Greeks? So it says here, the Greeks are not, quote, fragments of antiquity or museum pieces, but a living people whose story continues today. The letter makes a point stating that we did not vanish. It argues that Greek culture didn't end in ancient myths, marble statues, or museum displays, and it points out that more than 3,000 years of Greek continuity, from the Mycenaean period and classical Greece through to the Byzantine era, Ottoman rule, modern Greece, and Greek diaspora, communities across the globe. If Hollywood is going to retell the Odyssey, then Greeks should not be invisible in their own story. And we've got the classic
And I think it's worse
image.
than not being invisible. Like, they should be the majority, or preferably all of it. I'm sure there are loads of Greek actors that you could get. You could just make a movie out of actual Greek people. And if you did need to expand it out, you could expand it out to people that would pass as Greek, and at least have some kind of continuity there, rather than obvious problems with the casting.
You need Matt Damon.
Zendaya.
You need Matt Damon screaming "Let's go" in an American accent as he charges the
Yeah.
enemy line.
Yeah. This is entirely the result of like Nolan taking Emily Wilson's translation of the Odyssey as his baseline for this script, where it's all loaded with modernisms, because her philosophy behind it was like, well, for the ancient Greeks, it didn't sound antiquated, like the dialogue, the language, the terminology, and so on. So why should it sound antiquated to us?
Well, and
It's like, well, it's contemporary for them. It wasn't.
The more
contemporary for us.
the more you find out about her translation, the worse it gets. So she deliberately wrote it with the idea that it would go into like universities and students would learn it, which kind of implies that she's thinking about future things, of the influence it will have in the future. And she is saying that although she wasn't the first woman to translate this into this language, she is the first woman to think of it from a sort of feminist lens in English. And she is very clearly, when you listen to her, so she's changing words from like handmaidens to slave. And she's saying that, and she actually, there's a quote of her saying, the reason she uses the word slave is because it carries negative moral weight in the current modern day, but that isn't what it was then. So I don't think you should be using words to deliberately make it a negative moral connotation to those people if it wasn't back in the day. They might have been slaves by our definition, but if they were just handmaidens and there was no like, I am hurting this person kind of connotation, you shouldn't be doing that. But she's imposing modern moral problems on ancient things to essentially pervert what the story was. And she's doing that all the way through. She specifically says she's looking at this through like a gender lens. And it really does come across as like someone with an axe to grind about it, because she didn't think that any of the other translations gave that angle on it.
And
What a bitch.
The more interviews I watch of her, the worse it gets. It's a bottomless pit, that one.
yeah, because I had to watch a few when I made a video about this a few weeks back, and it's tedious and it's so narcissistic to project your modern hang-ups onto a story that was written 3,000 years ago. To presume that you can be the arbiter of like what this meant and what the author intended from it. And how you can, stamp your own hang-ups and your own agendas onto it. What arrogance, what hubris to think you can do that.
Which she even has she actually gets asked about that. She says, well, actually, think about what Homer would have wanted. It's kind of a stupid question in the first place, because Homer wasn't really a person. This was a play that was rewritten lots of times by lots of different people and has gone through loads of different things. So what you're technically reading, it's not. She's essentially arguing there isn't a source material, which is stupid, because she obviously translated something, right? And whatever you translated is the source material. But she's doing the typical tactic that we've seen many times of, well, it's just kind of a cloudy mess. We can't pin anything down. Everything's a really mystery. And that allows me to do whatever I want to it. And I just think that's really disrespectful for the people that came before you, especially when it's not your work you're dealing with. Your only job is to accurately translate something, not translate it into what you wish it had been written at the time if you were there.
Well, I think then that attitude filters through to the film interpretation, where like a lot of the arguments in defense of the bizarre casting is, well, it's a fictional story anyway, so why do you care? Why does it matter what actors we cast in this? Well, it matters because it's still set within a defined historical geographical period and place. And if you start putting in people and cultures and ethnicities that clearly were never meant to be part of that story because it serves a modern agenda, people are going to take issue with it. Of course they are.
Well, they don't care. That's just an excuse. Like, they've done real history where they've changed real people from our histories and stuff like that. Like, who was one of Henry VIII's wives was a black woman now. Like, they don't give a shit.
Anne Boleyn.
Yeah, they just lie. They don't give a shit. It's just like Lupita Nyong, she's playing Helen of Troy. Can I say her last name? Like she said,
Nyong'o.
it's a mythological story, and we represent the world, but it's not the world. It's
Yeah.
Greek. It's Greece. And what it really is it's colonization. It's you can't have a story. It's our story, belongs to the world. It's everyone else's but yours. We're taking it from you, is really what she's saying. And that's the thing. They have the audacity because they've done it with how much of English history have they fucked up? Tons.
I mean,
Well, actually,
we're kind of running out
Nyong'o's
of
exact
things.
quote. Nyong'o's exact quote is worse when she says, "It's quite something to be part of the Odyssey because it's so grand. It spans the world. So that's why the cast is what it is. We're occupying the epic narrative of our time." That is that occupying is colonization. So if you're against that, that's really not. It's really poor choice of words.
Well, it's the same rationale that gave us Rings of Power and the casting that went into that, because Tolkien conceived the Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion and so on as like a mythology for England. That was specifically his intent behind it. And it was based around the England and probably the Europe as he knew it at the time that he grew up with. But then when you get something like Rings of Power, it's saying, well, no, it has to represent the world we live in today. But clearly that wasn't Tolkien's intent. It was to represent the world that he lived in at the time through a fantasy lens and to give that a mythological history. So it's like, again, it's co-opting something that was created by someone else in a completely different time with completely different cultural and creative goals,
But
and
it's
say,
double
well, no, it's
standard.
ours now.
It's a double standard because even with fictional stories, you know, as you said before, it's fictional. Who cares? Wakanda is all black. They do the Avatar show. We made sure we had all Asians. Their fake history is more accurate than our real history.
Well,
because it's a double standard. They don't actually believe it.
Do you bring that up because you know her quote about it?
No, what's a quote?
Lupita Nyong'o did an interview about Black Panther. She was in Black Panther. It was done by BBC Africa. It's on YouTube. And in that, she goes on at length about how it's horrible the way Africa's been treated recently because there's loads of different countries in Africa and everyone treats it as like one unified thing. So they specifically wanted it to show the wide breadth of African culture. They had to learn the culture. It had to be based on all the costumes and the various different countries and everything, and how much work they went into accurately making in Black Panther the African culture. And so it goes to show, essentially, and people think it's hypocritical. I don't think it is because I think it's done from her perspective. So from her perspective, she really cared about Africa and she really cares about being in the Odyssey. And so she doesn't see any problem with that because she can't perceive the other culture as a separate thing than her. She only sees it from where she is in it, and her being in it is important.
Yeah, but doesn't that just make it kind of, it makes her kind of say, I love Africa, fuck your culture though.
No, I think exactly. I think that's exactly essentially what is being said. It is, I care about mine, I don't care about yours, and I think I should be part of it.
I'll exploit yours, though, because that's the thing, she's exploiting yours. That's the difference. Like, that makes her a real piece of shit.
The way I phrased it before, it's like, even when people try and use like the modern excuse, so you could say, yeah, England isn't the same now as it was 30 years ago. But I'm not sure that matters. Because if you wanted to make a movie about England, you would want it to feel like England, which means it needs to be full of English people, whether England is now or not. It is the English people which give the sense of Englishness to a piece of work. And I think that's the same with Greece. Like, you would have to have Greek people in it for it to feel like Greece. If you fill it full of people around the world, it doesn't matter what your intentions are, it will never feel like the original setting.
Well, the problem is they're going to say, like, British people are just customs and this vague nebulous thing, values, all shit like that, rather than a distinct ethnic group, which they won't admit, because that opens a whole can of worms. So it is just a double standard of Africans are an ethnic group, Asians ethnic group, white people no. That's why your culture is this ethereal thing that we can just slot in a guy from fucking Japan and he's to play King Henry VIII. You know what I mean? It's that type of stupid shit.
Lupita hasn't ever really argued that, though, in her things of this. In fact, the way she's handled it is actually because I've seen people protect it as, well, I'm not going to blame her because she's an actress doing a job. I actually think that's worse. Like, if you do something really horrible, and then you do something really horrible but get paid for it, I think getting paid for it makes it worse. It's like, yeah, now you're doing something horrible and benefiting from it personally. And so I'm really not sure it's
I'm
an
just
excuse.
following orders.
Well, she has turned
just
down
following
other
orders.
roles because she's turned down other roles because I think it was it The Woman King? She thought she couldn't accurately represent that role and couldn't accurately represent the culture. And I find it very interesting where people draw their lines of what they will and won't do. And it does seem like when it's close to me, I really care about it and I don't want to step on anyone's toes. But the further away it gets, I'm more than happy to step on yours.
No, I think that one was just she couldn't. She went, "This is going to be a bomb. People are going to make fun of this. I'm avoiding it." I think that was pure pragmatic self-interest. Because The Woman King was embarrassingly bad. Everyone made fun of it.
It was a rough one. I mean, the thing, generally speaking, I don't blame actors for taking on roles because ultimately, like, hey, they need work, and so they're going to take things that are available to them. It comes down, I think, to their attitude that they display. So if their attitude is just, hey, you might not like me in this role, or you might think someone else might have done a better job. I'm just here to do the best I can. Hopefully you'll give it a chance, whatever. Like the generic platitudes. It's tough to be mad at them then because they're just taking an opportunity. Who I would be blaming would be either the director or the casting director or whatever, who like sanctioned people being brought into a movie who are wildly inappropriate for the role, but you cast them anyway, either for political brownie points or for awards season. Or whatever, or just to like stick it to people who are like fans of the franchise or the historical period or whatever it might be. So
Well, we know
those are the peoples I would be like choosing to blame, I think, rather than the actors.
I think I'd have to go further. Well, I think they would have to go further with their statement, and I think they'd have to essentially say, well, I think it should just be the best person for the role and that actually anyone should be able to play anything and we can all act in these various different things. I still don't agree with it because I do think that if you want to portray England, it needs English people in it because they're what gives the sense of Englishness. But if they had the same solid foundation of actually representation doesn't matter.
Here's the problem.
I don't care about any of it. And I think that everyone should be a free-for-all. But I think you should actually have to state that because she has gone back in her previous times about African cultures and said that it is important, that representation is important, that it is important that you have Africans portraying African roles. And so it is that contradiction where I know what you believe because you've told me when it was important to you, which is why I wouldn't let her off the hook.
Here's the problem. So you're saying English people need to play English roles. Would you say Idris Elba is English?
No.
So that's the thing.
Because I don't think it could be James Bond. I think James Bond is a good example, and it's like, yeah, English, Welsh, Scottish, Irish. We're all connected enough through history and as a culture and a people that, yeah, I'm more than happy to do that because I think they portray a sense of the UK and would take that role.
That's correct.
But
that is correct. But I'm saying is the problem is, imagine you just went, Idris Elba's not English. You just said that to the people. We're not going to cast him because he's not English. There's a difference between
English. There's a difference between English national and English ethnicity. That's
yeah, but we're talking about like a historical role. Like if you're going for the past, Idris Elba applied. You went, sorry, you can't get in.
Well, he wouldn't have been here in the past. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, but imagine trying to float that past. And not just the diversity quotas you have to put into movies nowadays and shit like that. You've got the reporters, you've got critics, you've got people who will actually come after you if you do that. So on one hand, Christopher Nolan probably doesn't give a fuck about being accurate, but there is actual industry pressure to cast these people in roles they're not meant for, which is another problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, Idris Elba's not English to you?
No, because English is ethnicity. I mean, you can say he's a
citizen. Well, that's. I guess it comes back to again what Disparu was saying. Like, there's English nationals, and then there's English as an ethnic group. Like, I guess going back to like prehistoric times or whatever. And like, clearly he's not part of that, but like he is British in the normal sense.
Yeah. This is essentially a linguistic problem because the English have never needed another word. And so if you've had a homogenous nation for over 1,000 years, you've never needed another term for people that aren't ethnically English and are also English nationals, which causes problems.
MauLer, would you cast him in like a historical English role, or would you say he's not fit for it?
Well, but that would be different, right? If the role was an Englishman in 2020 or 2010 or 2000, I'd be like, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like that's you've defined that there's English ethnic and English citizen.
Well, it would just be a matter of what the ethnic statistics or breakdowns were of the time that we're portraying, but that would apply to all over the world.
Yeah, like the hypothetical scenario, like say it was a drama set in Tudor England.
Yeah.
Would you cast him there
No.
as like an English nobleman or whatever? Or would you say
But the
like, no, you're not suitable for this?
But that wouldn't make him not English, though.
No.
Well, he
But,
was
like,
Well, not an English citizen, but he's not English ethnicity. Like, this isn't like offensive. It's just obvious. Like, if I travel to Japan, I'm never going to be Japanese. My children won't be Japanese unless I marry into a Japanese woman, and then our children will be mixed of some sort, and then we'll join sort of the Japanese lineage. This is just a logical conclusion of the world. It's like a fact.
Yeah, like just because like you're born in a place doesn't mean you're from there. Like I had a friend born in Spain to 2 English parents. He's not Spanish. That's the thing. It's just and the problem is Hollywood won't acknowledge that. That's the big issue. It's like, because look at the Odyssey. It's everyone's culture. It belongs to everyone. No, it doesn't. It belongs to the Greeks. And the Greeks are a specific people. That's the controversy we're facing. That's why the Greek people reacted so badly. Because it's now going, we don't exist. It's not our history anymore. Since it's everyone's.
Well, it's kind of a similar reaction to the Cleopatra documentary where they tried to claim that she was black. And like the people of Egypt straight up, rebelled against that as well. I think they
got sued.
Well, I think, was it their Minister of Antiquities or something? Tried to sue them, basically said, no, this is bullshit. Like, we know it's bullshit. You're trying to project your current modern day American hang-ups onto Egyptian culture. Fuck off. Like, you've got no place talking about matters like this. And I think maybe this is a similar situation where it's like, well, Hollywood, being an American enterprise, is trying to project current day American angst about identity and race and stuff onto an ancient Greek story that's now going back thousands of years, that's got no place, trying to make this stuff work. And no wonder the Greeks are pissed off about it. I don't blame them.
We also remember Gods of Egypt came out, and all the Egyptian gods are played by blonde white people, and everyone quite rightly said that's stupid. They're Egyptian. They should look Egyptian. But it's a double standard. White people in these roles, colonizers, they're called this type of shit. They do the exact same behavior to us. And they go, well, it's diversity. It's we're embracing shit, which is, it's all lies. They all know it's lies.
You also have, there are different ways to do a movie. So you could do a remake of a movie and go, no, I want to modernize it. I want to take it into a different area. Historical accuracy isn't that important to me. It's just strange the contradiction and where the line is drawn. So at some points he'd be like, no, this armor could physically exist. I actually think he is rich, and so he'd have access to rare materials. His armor could be made by this combination of materials that I specifically thought about. I made a ship that can actually go into the water. I wondered about how the horse could actually enter Troy, because it was all a bit weird. Why would it be on wheels? And so you put all of this thought into making everything historically accurate, except for certain things. And so it's like, when you've told me that you care about a certain thing, I will then ask, why don't you care about this then? Because there clearly is a reason why that was the exception. And that's the kind of issue. If you were just like, no, I want to do everything modern, and I don't really care about historical, actually, I'm going for the rule of cool, then that would be an entirely different thing, and now you're going for like artistic tone. But that doesn't seem to be where I was going for it.
Do you think it'll hurt it at the box office?
Yes.
These controversies, or is it confined to just internet drama?
It's difficult to say because you already did Oppenheimer, which made $1 billion. It's Christopher Nolan who has like director star power, and it is, I don't know, because actually I might change my mind because controversy is good news. You know what I mean? Any news is bad news. It is the film, even if you're going to hate watch it. Like Rise of Skywalker still crossed $1 billion because people wanted to see the clusterfuck. The Boys last season was one of the most watched TV shows because people want to see the clusterfuck. So there is that kind of intent in a lot of the audience going. So I don't know. Actually, I retract my statements.
I think Nolan's a big name, and he draws people into the cinema. And so the idea of the Odyssey being, like he said, he actually described this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get the Odyssey done with a budget of this size, with a director people like no one's denying that Nolan has talent. And so, yeah, I think it's going to do well, however it goes. It is a case of, just because something does well, does it mean it's done right?
I mean, it's sometimes like it now is shaping up to be the most talked about movie of the year. I think when it comes out,
Spider-Man.
everyone's going to be
Spider-Man.
clamoring to talk about it.
It'll be Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, she's Spider-Man.
I hate it. Because I hate to say it, because it's easy to discount these Spider-Man movies sometimes, but like I feel like this one, it's not going to make the impact that No Way Home did.
I think that's a certainty, but I still think it's probably going to easily clear $1 billion. I think it'll be like pretty.
Do you guys know
it's Spider-Man?
the whole season of Spider-Man was just dropped. It's just out.
Yeah, like 2 days ago.
That's insane. Like I've seen loads of people saying like, "Huh? What? What's going on?" And I'm not even sure why they did that with this. Why would they not want to do that weekly?
Well, Prime are inconsistent about that, aren't they? Because The Boys they release weekly, but a lot of stuff they don't. They're kind of like Netflix.
Didn't The Boys' first season get released all at once?
I think that one did because they didn't know what they had. But Prime does something similar to Netflix, which is when they realize that their show is really popular, then they move it towards a more staggered release. Netflix never does, 1 week, 1 episode. They'll split it up into arcs, but yeah, that's what they've done with The Boys. That's what they did with Invincible, I think, too. And Fallout, yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. It's just, if it's a success, we'll then release it weekly, but...
Yeah.
What's... Yeah, I guess. It's just that it's caught so many people off guard. I don't even think people are going to... By the time... It reminds me of One Piece Season 2, how Gary was so sad to be like, no, because he thought it was awesome, right? He wants more people to see it, but once a week or two passes, it's like nobody's bringing it up anymore because it's old now.
Yeah, it just all splurged out at one time. Like, they shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it that way.
You got to do it like that.
Happen with Spider Noir. Like, they jumped 8 episodes.
Yeah.
What's not tracking to be successful, though? Supergirl, apparently.
No way.
Really?
Who could have predicted this? The long-range tracking is in for this, and there's some articles that are now starting to crop up about it. There's one here. This is from the Washington Times. Why is that there?
Senior dating.
Oh my, the doctors reveal the main reason for a big belly.
Yeah, I love the adverts that come up on this.
Or tourist traps.
Anyway, Supergirl tracking data draws concern from box office analysts ahead of June opening. So early tracking projections for Supergirl have drawn concern about the film's commercial prospects, with its domestic debut potentially falling well below last year's DCU opener Superman, which wasn't successful, by the way. According to box office theory projections, the Warner Brothers release is currently forecast to debut domestically between 47 and 65 million. That range would put it between The Marvels, which opened at 46, and Black Adam, which opens to 67, both of which were fucking disastrous bombs.
Notable disasters. Well-reported, massive consequences disasters.
So it's either like it's going to be a marginal disaster or a complete and total clusterfuck disaster.
I think it says so much about the way that people feel about this and kind of broadly the DC universe that, like, well before even these projections have started to emerge, there was like, no, the budget's actually not going to be that big. No, it only needs to make this much money to be profitable. It's like, man, it's weird. I don't see people saying this for like other, upcoming. I'm not seeing people say this about Toy Story 5, for instance, like, trying to rationalize how much money it needs to make at the box office in order to justify its existence. And I'm sure that movie's going to suck. But it's just funny to me.
Early tracking ranges for Superman put it at 154 to 175 million on the same metrics, which means Supergirl is hitting. I said it would cap at a 40% success rate of Superman, but it's looking at about a 30% right now.
Yeah, which, I mean that makes total sense. I don't know why anybody would have expected otherwise.
Yeah,
even if the film is amazing, which let's be real, it won't be. There's no way. Like, at best, it will probably be, and I doubt it will be that. But even then, like, how does it overcome? It has to make less money than Superman, obviously. It's like Superman adjacent, but not as well known.
If it is at 30% of what Superman did, you're talking about like a 200 million.
200 million, yeah. Yeah.
Which I think is reasonable at this point.
I think it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's what The Flash did, and The Flash had fucking Batman in it.
Yeah, dude, I've
Do you
seen
think
people suggest the Lobo's in it, so it's just like
I don't. That is crazy. That is crazy and silly. That is. I don't know why people would say that. Oh yeah, Lobo. Yeah. Do we want to figure out what the name recognition for Lobo is for general audiences?
I just want to go to like random people in the street. Like, hey, what do you think of Lobo as a character? Like, what the fuck? Get out of my way.
they would be like low blow. You're like no Lobo.
Yeah.
No, I think what we're going to see is, I feel like I saw it was a headline for a Variety article that was essentially something along the lines of, yeah, so we'll see how well Spider-Man's going to do. It's probably going to make a lot of money, and Supergirl will be sort of a test for whether or not you can make non-tentpole superhero movies anymore, which I basically agree with that as a point, but it's more so like, well, there's no test. I mean, we know what the trajectory is. We kind of saw the trajectory last year with Marvel, and how even Fantastic Four made $500 million on like a $200 million budget at least. It's like, yeah, all right, well, ripperoonie that. You know, if you're not able to find success with Fantastic Four, which is, you know, relatively well known, not as well known as like, you know, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, but relatively well known. I mean, what chance have you got with these sorts of characters like Supergirl? Like, you're probably rapidly entering into an era where you can't make money on superhero movies unless it's Avengers. And even that remains to be seen in terms of you can make money given how expensive that film's probably going to turn out to be. Or you can only do Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, maybe, you know, Hulk, like these sorts of characters.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is a contraction to the point where like only the very core characters that have always been viable are going to be still capable of generating a bit of money for you. As you say, like the Batmans, the Supermans, the Wolverines, whatever it might be there, like and the Avengers, which is like essentially blowing your entire load in one gigantic movie. I think it's almost mathematically impossible for that thing to turn a profit. Like, it's going to be so insanely expensive. But as they've maybe alluded to, it's not even about turning a profit there. It's about generating some kind of fan interest again, trying to rekindle that fire. But it's like you're trying to rekindle ashes at this point. There's just not much combustible material left because
like
it's all been done.
Yeah,
we're not judging this potential of Supergirl though off like what Supergirl could be. We're judging it off the current one. The current pitch for this movie is essentially depressed woman goes on a drinking bender and wears doesn't even wear the Supergirl outfit for most of the movie. So it's probably like, yeah, you can't coast along on your laurels and make side hero stories off the peaks of the highs, because those highs have also gone, so you can't carry all of the weaker stuff. But I still think you could do side movies if you actually
if the brand was really healthy and you'd had like a good series of establishing movies. So if you'd had, say, Superman and it'd been a phenomenal success and it had done like over $1 billion, like everyone's popping the champagne corks, great. If you then followed that up with a Batman movie and a Wonder Woman movie that were all successful as well, great. You've essentially got phase one of the new DCU. Then you'd have what I would do then is have a Justice League movie or some kind of team up movie, an Avengers equivalent. And then with phase two, then you can start bringing in these fucking subsidiary characters like Supergirl that are way too weak to stand on their own in their own movies. And then you've got some sort of solid base to build them off. As it is, you've got one movie and a fucking TV show that no one cared about. That's all you have to try and build off of with Supergirl. There's no foundation there.
I'm not even sure how this film would even do if it were great. It's like it's completely hampered.
Yeah, like what chance does it have? You know, you have a Superman movie that came out that didn't do as well as it needed to. Everybody knows it. And then you're like, yeah, no, we're going to do an adjacent character. Here you go, a year after. It's like, yeah, so what's going on with Batman? It's like, oh, we're making Batman in like an alternate timeline, like a different universe, one that's much more critically acclaimed, you know, especially when you factor in Penguin as well.
I think that's kind of the same for a lot of things, though, that if you do want to get back to success, you are going to need a whole string of movies to rebuild audience trust in things as it is. I think you could release a banger Batman movie and it may just fail because nobody cares anymore.
Do you think this will make... Sorry, do you think this will make more money than Mando and Grogu? Or...
That's what people were asking in chat. That's going to be... It's a race to the bottom.
There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, Mando and Grogu is already on what 160 million, so it'll probably cross
It'll probably
200
get
at least with ease.
350. You know,
Yeah.
it'll probably struggle to get to 400 million, but that's got to be higher than what Supergirl is going to end up at if those projections bear out. Like Supergirl is just the baseline that was happening with the DC movies in 2023. That was what happened, right? Shazam fucking made like less than $200 million. Flash made about $200 million. Blue Beetle made nothing. And then Aquaman was actually the most successful one, but it only got to about 400 million and it was an insanely expensive film. It's like, yeah, now we're returning to the baseline. Superman was able to, maybe do a little bit better than that baseline. But I mean, the baseline was non-profitability. And as for whether or not Superman is actually profitable, who knows? And now we're returning back to it. And then next year, when the new Superman comes out, it's gonna be making less money. Of course it is. It's gonna be a downward trajectory. No way it's going up. That was the ceiling. $600 million. That's terrible.
Is it funny as well? Like, yeah, because this article here talks about how the movies failed to. What's the exact quote here? Let's see. Yeah, that Warner Brothers has so far failed to build the same sense of event film urgency around Supergirl that it generated for Superman last July. I mean, that's a fucking lie to begin with. There was no urgency around that movie. Like, it was the most exhausting PR campaign I think I've seen in years. It was nonstop to the point where, like, people were just bored of the film before it even came out. And they almost went and saw it out of obligation. Like, it's a Superman movie, I guess. That was it. There was no urgency there whatsoever.
I mean, I'd say the enthusiasm that surrounds these films comes across as very, like, inauthentic to me. And what I mean by that is that it feels performative. I saw a tweet. It was there's like a clip from like a new trailer where it shows Supergirl kicking someone. And then there was a tweet and it had like 50,000 likes. It was saying, "Oh yeah, people are gonna find out, that Kara doesn't hold back as much as Clark." And it's like, dude, why are we pretending like there's this massive abundance of Supergirl fans? Like, it just doesn't come across as real to me at all. And also, I don't even believe that. Like, I find it really weird, the conversation around this film of like, yes, this is like an accurate and authentic like Supergirl movie. As I understand it, it's based on one specific comic book run. And I'm just going to, I don't know much about this character. I'm just going to assume that Supergirl has generally been presented as essentially like Girl Clark in terms of being like very nice and friendly and helpful and trying to do good things. Not like this sort of like, oh yeah, we're like punk rock or something, right? I'm assuming that that's the case. Unless I'm meant to believe that show that was on for like 8 years or something that I never really heard people like relentlessly shitting on as being inaccurate to that character. Unless I'm totally mistaken.
I don't know the comics, but from what I've heard, this is from a very modern comic book run. But people have told me that Supergirl is not like Clark Kent, she's not like Superman, whereas the Supergirl show was, it was basically female Superman all the way through. Now, I did prefer that. I thought Melissa Benoist was a great Supergirl. I would probably prefer that version of Supergirl in a movie than this one, who's just kind of like bed rotting, drunk all over the place. It's like, that's not what I want in a superhero show at all. There's a space for that, but only when you've got a solid rank of actually decent superheroes can you then start to subvert what you've got with everyone else.
Well, the actress, I think, isn't helping herself either. Like, she's had a few controversies with bad interview quotes that have come out recently, where she's talking about pissing off all the right people with her commentary. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you have to try and sell this movie to everyone. I mean, you really need all hands on deck to try and generate some sort of something resembling a profit from this movie. Well, and if you're straight up going to say like, as long as I've pissed off the conservatives in America, then I've done my job right. Like, okay, they're not going to watch your movie then, I guess. So congrats to you.
That's all it is. It's cope that nobody's going to watch my movie. And it's not like, oh, people didn't like it. I told you not to watch it. It was me that prevented you from making my movie a success. That's the cope.
It's a little bit like the Eric Kripke approach where it's like, oh, you're criticizing the finale of my show, huh? Well, I guess I pissed you off. Suck it, chuds. I win. Like, okay, but you still have a shit show that everyone hates. So, yeah.
Like, what's that thing Rian Johnson said when he goes, if people all liked my movie, then it's that I wouldn't like it. I want controversy. He's like, why? Everyone likes Empire Strike Back. Why wouldn't you want that? It's bullshit. That's what they
seem to think, and it is going back to the no news is bad news, like no publicity is a bad publicity kind of thing. It always implies that you piss these people off, but there's a far greater demographic of people that disagree and hate these people. And so by pissing off these people, you'll get a huge audience to go along that just didn't know about your movie before the things, and now they'll support you. And that does seem to happen. Tends to happen one way, and it's not this way. There is no grand group of people that Supergirl can suddenly achieve by pissing off people at the moment. You need every viewer you can get. And they seem to think that like superheroes can have some broad demographic that encompasses the entire world, and it's just not true. Companies need to get back to realizing who your audience is and pandering to them, rather than desperately trying to get your preferred customers rather than your actual customers.
Yeah. Tell you what, how about we do some super chats, gentlemen?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them here. The Big Hat Legion says, MauLer quote time, getting any enjoyment from Souls 2 is harder than a Welsh crossword puzzle. That's a good quote.
I don't think that's my quote, but it's a good one.
I like it. Hail Drinker, MauLer and Pano. Got my cigar and bullet whiskey ready for open bar. Fuck Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel. Glad Mandalorian flop now. Doomsday, please. Oh, I don't think that's going to flop necessarily, but it's going to struggle to generate a profit.
It'll be curious if we get final numbers on its budget someday, because
it's going to be
the most expensive movie in history.
Yeah. Fine, I'll watch Obsession now. We'll have to skip that section of the stream. No, Friggy, how's the 007 tutorial going?
Well, apparently I've gotten through it now. It only took me 4 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's all you can say. When's Disparu playing mixtape?
I don't know. I am more interested in it now. I found out the characters are horrible. So yeah, maybe over the weekend.
There's definitely fodder for a video. Even if you don't stream it, you can play it and just give your thoughts on it because it's fascinating. Decanonizing is the only way forward for Star Wars. It worked for Dragon Ball when they removed DB GT from the canon, then came back with DB Super. Did it?
Super
Is that what they did?
Yeah, they did. But Super, like they had this tournament where 12 universes have to have a fight, and if you lose, your universe gets deleted. But and the winner gets a wish. What's the wish at the end? Bring back the other universes. It's waste of time.
They say failure is the best teacher. If that was the case, shouldn't Disney be experts at making good Star Wars and Marvel by now?
Just a few more failures. They'll get
there. They'll get there.
It's only if you make changes after each failure can you actually improve. If you keep hiring the same people.
Well, by all accounts, they were happy to soldier through with things like, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the Mandalorian, even Book of Boba Fett. It was the Acolyte that freaked them out. That was the one that was unequivocally a gigantic failure. Like, it got horrendous reviews, but also horrendous viewing figures. And that apparently is what put them into a panic. Up until then, they'd still been content to force their way ahead.
Well, the Acolyte was like the culmination of everything they believe all in one series. And so it's like, if that's rejected, you're like, well, where do we go from here? Because the progressive view of history is that everything always moves in their direction. And yeah, it may swerve from one side to the other, but it's always going in that direction. And so they think if they just keep going long enough, eventually they'll break through and continue going in that direction. And at some point, maybe they realize they were wrong about that assumption.
But like you see Obi-Wan where he has Leia underneath his jacket and they're going, nah, this is fine. They'll love this.
Yeah. Genius. That's what it was. Genius.
It's still like Kenobi is one of the worst for me. I still remember that woman had died when she could have just picked up the grenade and thrown it away from her, and she would have been fine.
You can only watch 3 Simpsons episodes for the rest of your life. What 3 are you picking? Cape Fear on top. Cape Fear is really good, actually.
Probably throwing Treehouse of Horror 5.
22 short stories in Simpsons.
Yeah, that'd be a good collection, because then you get just you get your Halloween episode, you get your awesome Sideshow Bob episode, and then you just get all of the Simpsons characters getting 2-minute, stories that are really entertaining.
Homer at the Bat. I love that one. The softball one was so fucking good.
I like the one where he tries to tell Bart not to be gay, and he accidentally takes him to a factory, and he goes, "We work hard, we play hard," and he's trying to get Bart out.
That's pretty good.
Do you remember when they go to the box factory and Bart drops his hat and Homer thinks he gets turned into a box?
Oh, damn you! A box!
That wasn't the
My
deal,
boy's a
Blackheart.
box. Oh yeah, the Hank Scorpio episode would be another pick.
Oh
Yeah.
god, that's so fucking good, yeah. Where he's like, "You got any sugar?" And it's like just pulls it out of his pockets. Like, you want
Want
some
some
cream?
cream?
No, I'm okay.
Hey, Homer, if you could kill
No.
someone on your way out, that would be great. Jumped over the railing with a flamethrower.
Yeah, you're missing the time of your life here, Homer.
When he after tackling Mr. Bond, and he's like, "When you go home tonight, there's gonna be another story on your house."
Yeah. What's your opinion on stop motion, whether that be the animation style or the movies made in it? Also, can you please review the trailer for Wildwood? I'll need to have a look at that. Stop motion, I love it as a throwback to like the Ray Harryhausen era of monster effects and stuff. You know, things like Talos from Jason and the Argonauts or Medusa and stuff. Like, they look incredible. Even the first Terminator movie uses a bit of stop motion, doesn't it?
Yep.
When the T-800s having to march down the corridor towards them. I think there's
Well, when
something really unnerving about it, like that jerky animation style that just like in the right context, it can be super effective.
They used it in Mando and Grogu drink it.
I know.
But,
That was going to be part of my answer because I like stop motion because obviously you've got Wallace and Gromit and stuff. How could you not like stop motion? But when it's done as part of like Mandalorian and Grogu, where you're mixing it with CGI and other stuff, when you get to the stop motion scenes, it looks weird. And so I would rather it be as part of a sort of a whole piece of the thing rather than just parts.
I respect it more in older movies as well because it was a matter of necessity. It's like, well, we don't have CGI and like the various other projection methods we might try aren't going to work properly, so we'll use stop motion. And it's like it fills that need. When you see it in something like Mandalorian and Grogu, you can tell they just put it in as a gimmick. It's like, hey, look at us doing old-fashioned animation styles. That means we care. That means there's craftsmanship in this movie. Like, no, it doesn't. It's just like you threw it in there because you're trying to get brownie points.
very frustrating on that part. It's like a marketing gimmick when Phil Tippett and his team probably worked their asses off to make that a really smooth stop motion animation for what? It's like, I don't know, generic action scene where Mando kills robots, which he does a million times over, versus like a full movie or something with a lot of intent and spirit behind it, which stop motion has I tend to love it wherever you find it. But that one's a bit sad because, yeah, Favreau was just, he only got it so that he could say it was in there.
Yeah, it is a gimmick. Like, have you seen the practical effects with Baby Yoda and you see him try and run and it looks terrible? Looks
him
absolutely awful.
swimming. That was my favorite part.
MauLer's got that famous clip where like they put him down on the floor and he runs off, and it's just clearly like the shittest mechanical radio controlled car with a Grogu stuck on top of it.
Yeah,
it looks horrible.
And the Team America walk he does in the end of season 3.
Yeah, in season 3, door opens and he's falling in.
Yeah. Gents, let's have a serious discussion. If someone really wished for a one-wish Willow for Zendaya to have more than one facial expression, what would be the cost? Your immortal soul.
You basically become you can only express like Zendaya does for the rest of your life. You basically trade places.
Frowning constantly about stuff.
Forever.
If Lord of Ring, Gollum mixtape, and Star Wars Outlaws had uninterrupted Targaryen relations for 10,000 years, 007 First Light would be the sad result.
Damn.
Brutal. I don't know how mixtape would factor into First Light.
Well,
you're like MauLer's like, give it time, you'll understand.
Let's just put it this way: when I said a big open room with 3 dots and you can click them, you thought I was talking about mixtape.
That's true. That's true. Picks for the worst written movie. I'd go with Blues Brothers 2000. The soundtrack is a banger, though. It has Miles Dyson from T2 singing beautifully. That's conjured up a really weird image in my mind.
I don't know. Wow. I've seen The Bride recently, and that is the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. So
that is pretty rough.
The Bride and Joker 2 were my worst.
Oh, yeah. It's called Super Birthing Person, you bigots. There you go. We've been educated there. Watch Sleep Detective, another drinker recommends. All right, I will. Off topic, quite possibly my favorite EFAT moment is when Rags, during the Agatha coverage, accidentally misread Missy's Heart as Mr. Shart, Fun times.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think that was an accident. I think Rags knows what to do it, but it was very funny.
Trying to watch all you guys play mixtape is fun but excruciating. If I watch platoons play, I think I'll die at work. Don't cry for me, I'm already dead. The thing is, we didn't really play mixtape, we just kind of experienced it.
Yep. It's the way gaming was meant to be.
Obsession beat Mango and Grok at the box office. Yes, it did. I wonder if it'll stay like that.
Isn't it the first film underneath 1 million to make over 100 million?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it?
Well,
Yeah, I think it was like that's the
maybe.
Well, it was at 90 the last time I saw it. I don't know if it's gone up since then. Like, how many weekends has it been out? 2? So 2 weekends so far. Yeah.
Not too long, no. Yeah.
Okay. So it's still probably got a couple more in it. Well, it's going to get well north of 100 million.
I think the problem is the director is being poached for an untitled Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie sequel. I'm like, that's going to destroy him. Because it's going to be absolutely terrible. He's going to get absolutely crushed by the industry. The fans are going to kick off on him, and it's going to destroy a rising career before it begins.
It's interesting the other way around, though, because Markiplier was like, yeah, I had loads of offers after I made the movie, and just went, no, I want to continue doing my own work and see where I can take this kind of thing. So, yeah, if you are successful, you will try and get poached, but...
Yeah, you got to respect it. Lord of Ring and PS4 is better than Mango and Grogu. I agree.
Yeah, that's fair.
I haven't even played it yet, but I'm willing to bet that it is. At least there's probably some amusement to be had from that.
It'll be a very amusing playthrough.
Star Wars, the macaroni and guacamole was left out of the sun. In the sun to spoil. Now it's time to throw it in the trash where it belongs. Well, it's probably not going to take long to get there, I don't think. It'll be in a bargain bin somewhere at Best Buy soon enough. The Island of Dr. Morose is a game where someone fused Island of Dr. Moreau with Call of Cthulhu, but done in the style of Dr. Seuss. Play it, MauLer.
I think
it's fucking baffling.
Yeah, he's recommended this before. I mean, it does sound interesting. My list of things to do right now is a bit huge.
MauLer and Fringo, you must play Lord of Ring PS4.
Oh, PS4. We've already paid our dues with a version of it.
Yeah.
I would to do it again.
Once again, making more money than Star Wars, indeed. Platoon showed us the way to play mixtape. Mute their music and put on your own. Imagine them in the car rocking out to Everyone Has AIDS. It's when you have to do the most mundane task, like search through a drawer for a ticket or make a slushie for yourself, and it actually forces you to like use the controls and manipulate your environment. Like, that's an entertaining way to spend a couple of minutes. Fuck. When is Reaper going to be invited on EFAP?
Never.
You know what would have been one to do? Would have been Fallout Season 2, but I swore it off. I just didn't want to watch it.
You made the right choice. It was fucking dreadful. Like worse than Season 1 in every way.
I heard, yeah.
God, it raped the law twice as hard. It was like a gang rape of Fallout.
Well, hey man, don't worry. Season 3 is probably on the way, right? Oh boy.
There's nothing left. There's nothing left. They blew it up. It's gone.
Maniacs.
Oh god.
There are media that I would sacrifice my life to have. E.g., if I could extend my life by a month, if I agreed to have never heard my favorite song, no deal. What piece of media is this for you, and how long to retain? So, like, what's something that we just would not be without, I guess? In terms of media experiences. And not just like you can't experience it again, you never got to experience it in the first place. So imagine like the impact it's had on your life. It could be something like Star Wars for you, I guess. Like what impact that had on you for your understanding of.
I like really favorite franchises. So for games, it'd be like Morrowind and Baldur's Gate 2 and stuff. But for a month of my life, then that's a different question, right? Because I could have been doing something else in those times. I'm not sure whether there's the media that would like have formed such a foundational part of me that I would be a different person if I hadn't watched them.
There's definitely media for that for me. It's just a matter of how much time is it worth, and am I okay with becoming a slightly different person if I hadn't seen it to have a similar lifespan? Like basically, wipe out The Simpsons that I obsessively watched when I was a kid and probably formed a bunch of things about me. It's like, how many years would I be willing to sacrifice to keep The Simpsons? It's like, I don't know, man.
That's hard, but probably some amount of time, honestly.
I mean, like a month of my life at the end of my life when I'm old and decrepit and probably shitting into a plastic bag or something. Like, I'd probably give that up because it's like, what's the point? You're on the home stretch, you know what I mean? At that point, so wouldn't mind so much.
I guess that's the point of the point, though, right? Like, if it was 2, then 3, then 4, then 5 months, it's like, when do you draw the line, Drinker? For Lord of the Rings, when would you draw the line?
Yeah, I don't know if I could quantify my lifespan in that way. It's a unusual question that I wouldn't want to be flippant about it either. But I feel like I couldn't give you an informed answer. You know, like how much of my life is this thing worth?
But what about franchises that have crashed and burned and you hate them now and you're like, fuck it, I wish I never it's like a breakup from a horrible relationship. I wish I never met that person.
I mean, the thing is, right, for how shit something like Star Trek is now, right, and how much of a joke it is, like the positive impressions that the older stuff made on me, and maybe like what it taught me about writing or whatever, or even just made me curious about science and technology, I feel like that is important, and I feel like that is worth keeping, you know, and I can make that distinction between that old stuff and the new stuff, so it does have value for me for however far it's fallen.
Mine's Dragon Age Origins, because Veil Guard, I consider that a rape, and I would like to undo the rape. I would like to, you know, get rid of it. Never happens. It's gone. Delete
Can't undo the rape, sadly.
Being raped.
Yeah. We've all tried to undo it. Settle in for a mixtape hangover recovery stream. Yeah, I'm going to be doing my review tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Calling super chats, supper cats super chats should be illegal. So who called them supper cats and why? It's an EFAP thing.
I can't remember. But I probably have at some point. But I think they're referring to somebody else. I don't know, but.
He super chats on Beast, not the same thing.
Yeah, he's an okay. He's definitely got nothing wrong with him in the brain. Everything's all functional. Super cats, everyone.
Yeah. Congratulations on Trial by Fire. Here's some money to start the next buy a pint. Start the next of buy a pint. Well, I get what you're going for there. I will buy a pint with that, but thank you. Yeah, we released Trial by Fire on Kickstarter and to my Patreon subscribers, so they've had a chance to watch it, and the reception has been really good. So I'm pleased about that.
Didn't one of your films, I don't know if it's yours or MauLer's, did you work for that guy on Night of the Seven Kingdoms who plays the Targaryen, the actor who kills Baelor? What's his name?
Did we work for him?
No, did you work with him? Because I'm sure one of the actors was...
No way, because I would have heard about that, right? If that was...
Wait,
so you had in your movie you had Jason Fleming and Nick Rowe, didn't you? So
yeah, neither of them are.
We're
talking about because I'm not sure the actor's name. You're talking about Baelor, right?
No, not Baelor. The one who kills Baelor, the brother.
Oh, sorry, Maegor.
Maegor, yeah. Is that him, or am I thinking of a different actor?
Well, no, but he's not in Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Jason Fleming, nor Nick Rowe.
Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about then.
It's all good. It's all good.
We went off on a mad tangent there.
Well, Maekar, so the fucking
Maekar,
Westeros names, man.
Drinks up. Megorius and Gruelheim on EFAP was incredible. In the last 6.5 years, I've seen 2 movies in theaters. Jesus. Rise of Skywalker and Project Hail Mary. You really encompassed the whole human experience with those 2 films. The first made me hate films, and the second made me love again. Beautiful. It's a redemption arc.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. When you and MauLer finish your Resident Evil arc, you should play BioShock together, assuming MauLer has finished making people play Mixtape, Poor Fringy, Platoon, and Drinker. You've left quite the trail of misery and destruction in your wake, haven't you, MauLer?
Well, you probably want to, because it was Metal that started this, right?
Yeah, but I'm willing to take the hit at this point. Everyone just keeps saying it was my fault, so it's fine.
Well, Metal
It
never
was
tried to
me.
make me play it. Okay, so you were
Well,
just harassing me.
it's all a patient zero issue, you know. But the thing is, Az played it before Metal, so maybe he's the
Oh,
secret
right.
blame person. I don't know.
Patient zero, yeah. You gotta love it when a movie is absolute dog shit and it fails. It's one of the few things that gives me joy in life. Now we wait for Super Film Cell. Hail. I mean, they just keep lining them up, man. What can I say? Where's the next one? Oh, yeah, Cole Hauser. Hail Drinker, thanks for joining my birthday stream. It was a pleasure, sir. Next time, we've got to have MauLer on. See you in Toronto for drinks and Ryan Drake. Yeah, you're going to be at the premiere. Look forward to it, mate. Can you watch The Amazing Digital Circus as the final episode is coming out, to the cinema on June 6th? It is like light Soma.
A lot of people have recommended it. I'll have to get around to it at some point.
Nice. Let's see. Hey, fellow drunks, did you see Platoon's bad game stream? He had so much fun. Osama bin Laden kept him company along us. Hey, how much did the new Mortal Kombat movie make? Will it break even? I don't think it's doing that great, actually.
Yeah, might not, actually. Yeah, might not.
Let's see what it's sitting at now. So Mortal Kombat 2 is currently sitting at 122 million worldwide. That's not breaking even.
Yeah, ripperini.
Oh,
That's surprising. Like,
Yeah,
had
a little
decent
bit.
word of mouth. I thought like all the fans and stuff enjoyed it. I don't know, it just never broke through to mainstream appeal. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is a deeply flawed movie, though. Like, if you don't like the if you're not a fan of the games, it's like there's too many problems in it. They're kind of distracting.
It's definitely not a masterpiece, that's for sure. But
Nope.
Fights are fun.
yeah, exactly. Let's see here.
I think that's one of the issues. It's like action movies like that used to do really well, but now it's against so much competition and everything else. You're like, do I really want to go to the cinema? One of the big issues is people getting out of the habit of going, and now they need a special reason to go in the first place that drive them there. And your just average action movie may not be enough.
And the price,
Quite possible.
the price of cinema's gone up. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny that Mando and Obsession both have director cameos. In Obsession, the professional keeps it subtle. You only hear their voice. In Mando, the amateur appears in multiple scenes and gives himself a badass name. I mean, so yeah, Filoni wasn't the director. He was the producer on this one and the writer, I think. But
It is,
Favreau
yeah.
directed.
It is remarkable, though. The internet are seemingly convinced it is a Filoni movie. Like, that Favreau gets very little hits for this when he absolutely deserves to be fucking tarred and feathered for making this shit, along with what else he's done for Star Wars. But no, Filoni seems to be the target, and it's probably because everyone knows Filoni's in charge, boys. This is what you see here. That's what we're getting in future.
More Filoni slop. Has anyone read Children of Time? And if so, do you think it would make a good movie? It, of course, deals with big spiders, so I think that would keep people out of theaters, but I like how it handles aliens and would definitely recommend the book. I have never read Children of Time, so I know fuck all about it, I'm afraid.
I feel like I might have started that book. I'm not sure. I don't remember anything about it, though.
I don't read. I'm proud of my ignorance.
Touche. Imagine Mel Gibson doing the Odyssey in ancient Greek. It was a tonal like Chinese, maybe sounds too strange. Bring Bronze Age pervert onto your podcast someday. He speaks it. I mean, is that his actual name? His channel name? Bronze Age pervert? You've got to have that guy.
Yeah,
on,
that is
surely.
a chat. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll do that.
He did Apocalypto, didn't he? He did that quite authentically. Yeah, he'd be pretty good. He's doing isn't he doing a series about knights in Malta getting besieged by the Ottoman? Yeah, sounds pretty
the Siege
good.
of Malta. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still like Gibson's a weird one, right? Because he had all his controversies, which basically ended his career as like an A-list leading man. Came back as a director, and then kind of had this weirdly fluctuating career where he occasionally acted in like lower budget stuff, and then he'll just come back with random stuff like this.
I feel like he's hovering around the periphery of like a mainstream comeback, but he's never quite sealed the deal. He's in a bit of an odd position now in his career. I mean, he definitely has skill as a director.
He hasn't done the apology tour. He basically just goes, I said what I said. I think so.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
There was an article that came out today about sort of the British television industry and how they were talking about the workplace culture and how some of the workplace may be awful, but people daren't speak out because they might get blacklisted from it. It's like, yeah, that's exactly the same thing they have in Hollywood. And I think this is one of the issues that leads to them having bad entertainment is that they can set a load of rules that might just exclude everyone that can make anything good. Because if he made there's all talk about how Hollywood's really angry that Passion of the Christ made all the money because he had to fund it himself, and so he took all the money because none of them were wanting to invest in it. And you do wonder if by being so specific about the people they will allow in the industry, have they sealed themselves into like a one-way path where they can't turn back anymore? That they don't know what's good because they've kicked out everyone that could send them down a different direction, like him. I do think now is the time to let people like him back in the industry just to try something new.
Yeah, but they've been crying about Trump for 10 years. Like, these people are just doing the same thing over and over again, and it's insanity. They expect different results, but they don't get it.
Maybe if they push it hard enough and long enough, they'll eventually... They're assuming, like, everyone will just say, oh, fine, we'll watch your shit movies. Would you mind showing MauLer the root beer scene from Deep Space Nine on Last Orders? I think it's an interesting 3-minute scene, even without context, and I want to see what MauLer thinks of it.
What scene is that? I know Deep Space
I don't know.
Nine,
You're assuming I know what that scene is. Like, I'm not really an expert on Deep Space Nine.
Well, it was they needed a bit of filler, so they got Garrick and Quark at the bar, and basically it's a meta commentary on the Federation. So he goes, try this root beer, Garrick, and he goes, it's vile. He goes, I know, it's all bubbly and cloy like the Federation, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it's a good solid scene, and it was filler. They just put it in because they needed to stretch out the runtime. And it's really good having an alien's perspective outside the Federation on the Federation.
That kind of thing's happened a lot. So one of my favorite scenes in Stargate is during... It's like a time loop episode. And they just go through lots and lots of loops, taking the piss out of things. They play golf through the Stargate and stuff. And that was done because the episode wasn't long enough. And so they just needed to kill time until right up to the end of the episode. And they just all improv. But it was the best part of the episode.
I did like how Teal'c, every time he reappears at the start of his loop, he gets a door slammed in his face. And
yes,
there's one point where he just decides fuck it, and he punches the guy out and knocks him out. He's just got this little smile on his face, yeah, I'm happy.
We also have the eating scene where he's making faces out of the ketchup and mustard and stuff and showering. Yeah. Everyone else thinks he's going insane.
The archetype of the badass alcoholic is really tired, so that's our Supergirl there. She's a drunken party girl. It's okay when I do the alcoholic thing, but not when she does it.
Critical drinker, the badass alcoholic.
I wish everyone was sober for my movie.
So tired. Are any of you familiar with the real life fake wizard? For some reason, I see his videos recommended all the fucking time now to me. I quite like his content, though he can get a bit wordy at times. He seems to share many of y'all's feelings on games and other media. Has he been on FNT? Before?
He's on FNT now.
Trigger, what? He's like a cast member.
Who?
Well, I'm not on it enough to know, so. Well, I mean, perhaps if he's interested, we could have him on open bar sometime as well. See if he wants to do that.
Yeah, he's good. Also, D&D. I've seen him, what's it called? DM a campaign. He was really good at that as well.
Nice. I appreciate this discussion. Remember, Cleopatra was a Ptolemy, a descendant of one of Alexander the Great's generals. She was indeed. She was Macedonian Greek, apparently. Yes, about a decade ago, I was beekeeping in the north of New Zealand. 36 degrees and 80% humidity while wearing 2 sets of clothing and rubber boots. It is possible to run out of sweat. you just sweated all the moisture out of your body. Yeah.
I'm going to take the suit off or I'll drown.
I'm not going to lie. That sounds like fucking hell on earth.
Yeah.
There's
There is an ontological fact of the matter. Our British history exists no matter how much someone else wants it not to. There is a fact to be found, right? I mean, I would presume so, in that, yeah, British people do have their own history and culture, and that's no bad thing to want to preserve that. Greek people should make their own Odyssey film with modern Greek slang and references that no one outside of their country will get. Fuck yeah, do it. Why not? Cheers Bar, Karate Kid Part 2 is the first movie I remember ever seeing in theaters. I was 4, a better time all round, before the dark times, before the internet. Fuck you, internet. You ruined everything. Stop ruining things. Anyway, I'll probably stop up there with the super chats. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure as always having you guys on. Thank you for coming in for Open Bar, giving us your expertise for a couple of hours. It's always fun hanging with you. And thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight, and everyone who's sent us all your generous super chats as well. We appreciate it. And the ones we haven't been able to answer right here, MauLer and I will catch up with them on Last Orders.
Oh
yeah. And you can catch us occasionally on a Monday night doing Resident Drunks when we play through the Resident Evil games over on my gaming channel, which is nice. It's a nice way to hang out and just do something a bit different instead of watching crappy movies. So that's neat. But anyway, that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.
That was a bit enthusiastic.